I just learned that if you leave the game on this screen for too long, it'll eventually play the intro cutscene. So there was that. Now I don't remember if that. I don't know if that's exactly the same as the one that plays like in the game. There might be a variation. Although I think a lot of times the variations come as a result of there being different ports of the game previously, and then you make like a fan conglomeration, and then it puts different intros different places. But what that intro does indicate doesn't really give us very much new that we haven't seen so far. However, it does remind me that there are two characters that have sprites but are yet to be introduced. And the person who had amnesia, which his name was there, but I don't know how it's pronounced yet, he gets sprites eventually. And I presume Chisato also gets sprites eventually. We've only seen CGs of her. So they're going to come into play at some point. But yeah, the two characters seem to be like little kids or something that that also get sprites. They just have not been introduced. Everyone else has been introduced though, I think. So yeah, we have Narumi and Makoto. Makoto just got introduced. Again, not with sprites, just in CGs. And naked, at the, or we just were, with Otamachi and the boss kind of together. Then we have Kiridera, Chisato, and we have Chisato's younger brother, who I don't think he's been named yet. They kind of make a group. They've all been introduced, but Chisato and Chisato's younger brother not as sprites yet. I don't even know if we got Kiridera as a sprite yet. As sprites yet. And then we have the group Rinmaru, Maina, and Miu, and they're all together as sprites. We have seen sprites of... Well, we're not really Rinmaru, because Rinmaru we were playing as, and there isn't another... We're not having, like, a situation where our other protag, our other point of view, Narumi interacts with Rinmaru again. They're separated by plot mechanisms, but he's also there. Anyway, let's get into the thing. I presume I want to say yes to that. Okay. Let's now switch the hook. Oh, man. I just realized that the drop down doesn't actually appear on OBS. You don't see how long the drop down is. Anyway, I forget who Narumi's talking to here. Is that really what, like, okay, you gotta change my keyboard. Turn it to Japanese. Change it to Kana. Okay. Tony kaku. Yeah, just anyway. I could have copied and pasted out of there. I don't know why I didn't bother to do that. It won't start if you stand still. It's just a waste of time. Well, what won't start? Your investigation? Nothing will happen if we just sit here doing nothing. We'll only be wasting time. That makes more sense. For now, let's investigate this room. Well, we don't really have an investigation mechanism like Ace Attorney does, so I don't know how we're supposed to do this, but okay. Is my audio running? Yes. My recording's running. Okay, everything's good. There might be some clues left behind. Okay, so we're going to use this as like an investigation mechanism. We're just going to use choices. I presume it's going to make me go through all of these, so it doesn't matter what order I go with. But just in case, I'll try to pick the best one first. So we have the bathroom, right, where she was. I think that makes the most sense, right? So let's go through. This is the bed. So we're going to investigate the bed. This is the Naito table, so like the nightstand. I don't know what this means. This one means window. This is the closet. This is the bathroom. I don't know what the first kanji are, but then the katakana there are what? So it's chi kin. I mean, like, what? Check-in. Okay. I was like, what does chi-e mean? Oh, chi-e-ka. Chi-e-ka-in. It's kind of like a Mad Gabs thing when you're reading katakana. Like, it kind of sounds... You gotta say it fast, and then it kind of will eventually give you the word. So we'll start with the bathroom, where the body was. I opened the bathroom door. At that moment, a stinging odor filled my nose. It smells irony. I wouldn't say blood stingy. It's stingy smelling. It just smells like liver. In that instant, a pungent, offensive odor filled the air. That's better. That makes more sense. Real Google Translate. It's the smell of blood. I was suddenly attacked by intense nausea. I covered my mouth and nose with my palm and managed to hold it back. Yeah, some people faint too. And inside, the scene inside the room was almost the same as when I saw it earlier. The only difference is that Makoto was not in the bathtub. Okay, so the EMTs preserved the evidence well. Is that what we're saying? Everything else was the same. A knife was found outside the bathtub. It's a diving knife. That's correct. Okay. Total length 255 millimeters. The length of the blade 125 millimeters, meaning the length of the hilt would be 130. The titanium alloy blade has a sticky red substance attached to it. Attached? It's kind of an interesting word there. Old Google Translate. It's Makoto's blood. Makoto probably used this knife to cut her own head. Let's see if that's the best way to translate that. Or just maybe there's a better one. Throat is what the new Google Translate translated. I don't see a nodo being used. Kono naifu o tsukate mizukara no kubi. Okay, so I guess kubi is throat. It's neck. Okay, so that kanji means neck. So that's just like a really bad... So, I don't know if you can see this highlighting. That's neck. So that's just a completely wrong translation. Tsu. Or just I felt nauseous again. Something hot rises up from deep within my stomach. I don't think I can hold it back anymore. I put my hands on the sink and threw them all into the sink. What, you mean threw up all into the sink? What if there's evidence in the sink you just covered up? Narumi? I placed both hands on the edge of the sink and splashed them into the water. Okay, that makes more sense. What? Yet the vomiting wouldn't stop. It kept erupting like a geyser. Okay, so maybe in this case, old Google Translate was better. So, I think I get what's going on here. Is that it's saying, and I threw into the sink. It's like a euphemism, right? And the machine translators are trying to use the context to figure out what is being thrown, and so they're thinking, oh, it's the hands, and it doesn't make and it's just not getting like the expression correctly, right? So threw into the sink it means to throw up into the sink. Okay. The vomiting doesn't stop, it bubbles like a geyser. Or it's kept erupting like a geyser. Yeah, that's how vomiting typically works. Like it's harder to resist the second vomit than the first one. And the smell of vomit can make you vomit, so it can perpetuate. I've done a lot of vomiting in my life when I was a little kid. I haven't done it in a long time. I think it was, specifically 2021 when I last vomited, I think. It was 5 years ago. Yeah, you're like, what? How do you remember exactly? Because it was a specific surgery I got in 2021. I had to get a surgery done. Okay, it's kind of a private thing. It's surgery doing something. And a few hours after the surgery, I got nauseous and I vomited. With having had a surgery done. And the nature of the surgery is one of those things where you don't really want to vomit after getting that surgery. So that was kind of not ideal. There were no actually negative consequences in the long run of it, though, of vomiting in that case, but I did vomit. My throat was burning and stinging from the stomach acid. I turned on the faucet, flushed away the vomit, and rinsed my mouth lightly. I'm not good at blood. I couldn't see or smell it. Yeah. So, in case you didn't know, here's some random factoid about me. I have a phlebotomy license. And I have the California version, which is required in some other states that adapt California stuff. So I may not be in California, except I've said before I'm in California. I'm in California, okay? And when you do that, you have to see blood, obviously. And I'm really good at seeing blood, but you don't have to smell it. The way the tubes work, you generally don't get the odor. So I can't really tell what happens to me if I have to smell blood. But I don't get that, like, fainting if I see blood thing. I just happen to not have that. I don't think I've ever smelled blood. Like, I had blood come out of me for various injuries or whatever, but, like, I've never been able to smell it. I've tasted it, of course, because, sometimes you get, like, a bleed in between my teeth. Yes, my teeth are not the best. And it doesn't really taste that bad, but of course it's my own blood. I haven't tried eating congealed pork blood, but I don't remember, like, ever, like, smelling blood, oddly. I don't remember what blood smells like. Physiologically unacceptable. I would have a seizure and throw up like I did now. I can't tolerate it physiologically. Not psychologically, physiologically. I'll have a seizure and throw up just like I did before. A seizure, really. I was okay with it earlier because I was preoccupied with Makoto, but I turned off the faucet and stumbled out of the bathroom. Great, so we didn't investigate anything besides we found the knife, because she couldn't handle blood, apparently. She's the person that the blood censoring using the negative is for. Okay, let's check the closet. Let's take a check-in last, because I'm not going to make her run to check-in and then back to the room. Of course, it's a visual novel, so it doesn't matter anyway, but... weird kind of empathy. I opened the closet. Inside, there were just hotel bathrobes and towels neatly folded. There's nothing else. That's weird. There's never nothing else. There was nothing else was rather strange. That's meta. Makoto was not wearing anything when she was discovered. In other words, she was naked. There was a suit she wore for public security, but there was no other evidence. Wait, did you find the suit? I thought there was nothing in the closet. They found the suit she was wearing when she worked for public security, but there was no other evidence whatsoever. Okay, so they did find it. Well, then what's the problem? Like, if they found the suit, did they not find the underwear? She could have just been going commando under the suit. It might have been like a skirt part, like a skirt suit. But you know, as long as you don't stand in a weird pose, you won't necessarily get caught. There was nothing in this room that was supposed to be there. It's the mobile phone. The 2 emails I received were sent from Makoto's cell phone. They never found her phone. Was Makoto not in this room when she sent the email? Potentially. Somehow maybe she could get them to check her into a room with a specific room number. It would be hard though. If there was, there would definitely be a cell phone somewhere in the room. However, it can't be helped because there is nothing that isn't there. It's kind of a weird phrase. Can't be helped because it is in fact not there, right? However, there's nothing we can do about it since it simply doesn't exist. Okay, that makes sense. I kept that in the back of my mind as I quietly closed the closet. Okay, let's check the window. The windows were large. The back wall of the room is entirely made of glass. It cannot be opened. This is what is called a... let's just retranslate what is in the quotes there. Fit in killing. A fixed window. That makes more sense. Naturally, there are no terraces or balconies outside because you cannot open the window. Additionally, this floor is located on the 6th floor above ground. In other words, it is impossible for someone to infiltrate or escape. I then turn to look out the window. The lush park spreads out below. This is Yoigi Park. It is now the end of May. Normally this would be the season when the fresh greenery would be so vivid to the eye, but today is different. The cloudy sky took away the vibrancy of the lush greenery of the trees. It's like looking at a worn black and white film. If I keep staring at it like this, I feel like I'm going to lose my mind. I slowly moved away from the window. Okay, let's check the bed. This is a twin room. There were 2 beds. Okay, there's only one in the picture. There were box-shaped rather than leg-supported. Oh, there's leg-supported ones? Okay. Not very familiar with Japanese hotel beds. When I think of leg-supported bed, it makes me think of those, like, medical beds with, like, they can move up and down with controls, with a remote type thing. You can, like, lift up into semi-Fowler and you can lift the legs and stuff. Therefore, the bottom part of the floor the bottom part and the floor are in close contact with each other. Oh, okay. No space for a person to enter. So, the bed doesn't, it's not like there's no legs on the frame. The mattress is, the box strip spring or mattress is just on the floor. Okay, I got it. The surface of the room was clean and tidy, with the bed still made. There was no sign of anyone sleeping or lying down. I mean, there's no dent or, like, crinkle. Okay. The hacksaw from earlier was placed on top of the tightly stretched quilt cover. The boss just left it on the bed? Or did you put it back? Because you picked it up, right? It's like, what's this? There was a fine iron powder attached to the blade of the hacksaw. It was probably attached when the arm lock was cut off. By the boss, I presume. Other than that, there was nothing particularly suspicious. There were just two very ordinary beds lying in the center of the room. Okay, a nightstand. A nightstand is wedged between the two beds. There was some strange object on top of it. Doll, I wonder? I walked over to the nightstand and picked up the object. It's dressed in black clothing and was clutching a gigantic comma in both hands. I guess that's a transliteration of something similar to a scythe. It was clad in black garments and held a single massive scythe tightly in both hands. The face resembles a skull. It's the Grim Reaper, a doll, or could say like a figure of the Grim Reaper. However, because of the slight deformation, rather than being creepy, it gave out a charm that was hard to hate. I mean, there's like a goofiness to it. In any case, strange objects seem to show off their existence. Well, there's a comma, so this is not the end of the sentence. In any case, a strange object that seemed to flaunt its existence. It's so out of place in this inorganic symbolic place that it stood out. Okay, let's connect the sentences together. The phrases together. In any case, this bizarre object, which seemed to be flaunting its existence, was utterly out of place in the sterile and symbolic space, and stood out conspicuously. In other words, to put it in one word, it was unnatural. I can't believe something like this is kept in a place like this. I rolled the doll in my hands and looked at it intently. Then... I must die. I must die. And then I must die in Japanese, right? Watashi wo sagashite. Find me. I must die, find me. Okay, so that relates to what happened to Makoto, right? They found her while she was dying. Suddenly the Grim Reaper started speaking. It appears that both arms were used as switches. I raise it to turn it on, lower it to turn it off. I hurriedly put it down. Shinigami was silent again, or the Grim Reaper was silent again. I tried to pull off the black costume. I found a USB connection terminal on the back. So the cloak is actually cloth. It's connected to a computer. So it's just a speaker then. This stall probably has something like a text reader built into it. Oh. You can make this God of Death speak by inputting any words into your computer. Right, so it's a... It's a Shinigami, okay. Death God. So I guess, yeah, it translates to, like, Death God. Remember, the Japanese would use a term like kami or gami more loosely than, say, like an English speaker would use the word God, for example. If that's the case, I tried lifting the Grim Reaper's arm again. They're not very familiar with Christianity usually. Like, we wouldn't say the God of Death, we would say the Angel of Death. Because, well, we think that's how he's described, or she, I don't know what the gender is of death, in Exodus. It's an angel. And there isn't any reason to believe it's a fallen angel. It's just a normal angel. I tried lifting the Grim Reaper's arm again. I must die. Literally translated, it means I must die, or I must die. Funny when you translate it back into English. In other words, this is a suicide note, do you mean?
Senpai.
Senpai.
Narumi senpai.
Narumi senpai. If I thought about it any further, I felt like I would be swallowed up by the muddy depths. I shook off the gloomy shadow and put the Grim Reaper doll back on the nightstand. Okay, whatever this is. There are 2 chairs. Oh, isu. Okay, it's this chair. There are 2 chairs placed by the window. There was a magazine on one of the seats. I picked it up and looked down at the cover. The name of the magazine is Astro, and it's a scientific magazine about astronomy. This is what the cover says. Special feature, May 21st, 2012, 7:35 a.m., the great event of the century. Let's watch the annual solar eclipse. Solar eclipse, solar eclipse. In English, it's eclipse. What is the second eclipse project?
どこまで知ってるんだよ、お前。
How much do you know? A world where time is vanished. That's all. Hey, tell me, what on earth is about to start?
始まるんじゃない。終わるんだ。
It is not starting. It is ending.
歴史が。
History.
今から24時間後、明日の正午に。
24 hours from now, tomorrow's noon. The second eclipse project has something to do with the solar eclipse and the annual eclipse. Is that so? However, I don't know what kind of connection there is between the two. I turned the pages of the magazine one by one. It only took 10 seconds to finish reading. I skimmed through it, making sure not to miss a single word, but I couldn't find any articles that seemed to be a clue. I tried calling the front desk using the phone in the room. Okay, so she just calls the desk. She doesn't go there.
はい、こちらフロントでございます。
Yes, this is the front desk.
612号室ということは、
room 612, so...
ああ、申し訳ありません。
I'm sorry.
警察の方ですね。ご用件は何でしょ
う？ You're a police officer, right? What's your business? I want to know Makoto's check-in time. Can you tell me?
はい、かしこまりました。
Yes. I know. Right? Yes, I understand.
午前1時ちょうどです。
It's exactly 1 a.m. And she says, exactly, right? Oh, a quick answer, please. Well, he gave you an answer.
ええ、あらかじめ調べておいたのです。
Yes, I looked into it beforehand. It's probably like, immediate answer, isn't it? Right, immediate, huh? Because there's a nay, right? It's not a request. It's just,
お
yeah,
そらくお
immediate.
尋ねになるだろうと思いましたので。
I thought you would probably ask. Naturally, the hotel was aware of this incident. An ambulance came and Makoto was taken out of the room. There's no way they didn't know. However, the boss, using the authority of the Ministry of Public Security, strongly urged the hotel not to say anything else. I think it was more like a request or more like an order. Therefore, no forensic examiner has come to this room yet. They haven't come and there is no plans for them to come. The scene is preserved exactly as it was when Makoto was discovered, with not a single hair missing. So, are you sure about that 1 a.m.?
はい。監視カメラの映像にも記録が残っていますから。
Yes, there are records in the surveillance camera footage as well.
雪住誠様が入室されたのは間違いなくチェックインから数分後の午前1時過ぎです。
Makoto Yukizumi entered the room a few minutes after check-in, just after 1 a.m. Who else entered the room?
誰もいません。
No one. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we're still going with it being a suicide. I hung up. May not be the case in the end, because we know that the Psy people can teleport. Ish, right? But we're going with that so far. It was past 1 a.m. when Makoto came to this room. She was discovered just a while ago at 3:15 p.m. 14 hours. What on earth was Makoto doing in this room for over half a day? The questions are endless. My head hurts. I felt lightheaded and slightly dizzy. And she did not lay on the bed. So if she slept in that time, she did so on the floor, right? Or she like remade the bed really well to erase the evidence. We didn't check for hair on the bed yet, did we? Well, for the time being, the search inside the room is more or less complete. However, there is no big gain from this. If I had to say it, it would be, what about the doll? I picked up the Grim Reaper doll again. I raised the arms and flipped the switch. To flip the switch. Even if this was a suicide note, even if this were a suicide note, so what? What difference would that make? What I most want to know is the reason why Makoto attempted suicide. As far as I am aware, YouTube likes to throttle videos that have that word in them, so it'll be in a playlist it'll naturally go into this video. But this god of death won't answer that question. Wait. It's kind of weird. Suddenly I felt a strange feeling. What caught my attention was the last phrase, Watashi wo sagashite. Even if you asked me to look for you, Makoto was easily found without even having to look for her. Because she was in the bathroom inside this room. The command sentence search is usually used when something is lost or something is hidden somewhere. However, Makoto wasn't hiding in the bathroom, she was just there. She probably cut herself right as the boss walked in, right? If I had to compare it to this, it would be like having a big picture of Waki drawn in the middle of a page of Find Waki. Is that what they call Waldo? Waki? There is no sense of necessity as a command at all. Does that mean there's something else she's supposed to find? She's supposed to find a Grim Reaper somewhere? The target you should be looking for is not Makoto. Looking for where it said God of Death before. So, what does this mean? What does a vertical line and nothing else mean in Japanese? I guess it's referring to I, as in, the reason why it's saying I is because that was how the speaker referred to themselves in the message. I must die in English, that's why it's I. I don't know what this means, so I'm gonna just like pick I. I. I think this Grim Reaper is saying, look for the word that means I in the sentence, I must die. Please find the word that means I in the sentence, I must die. The answer cannot be anything other than I. I looked again at every corner of the room. It happened. It's I. It was a vase shaped like the letter I. Flowers are arranged. It's a cyclamen. They're cyclamen flowers. When I picked it up, I saw that water had been poured inside. Regardless, I pulled out a cyclamen flower and turned the vase upside down. What spilled out with the water was a small sealed plastic pack. There's something inside. Wait, so I picked the right answer somehow, okay. It's memory. USB flash memory. It is a convenient portable device that can be used as an external recording device when connected to a computer, yes. I know what a flash drive is. Anyway. You're going to do something really elaborate, Makoto. Or you did. Well, she is like someone like you, right? She's one of these private investigator people. You're going to such elaborate lengths, Makoto. Okay. The USB memory was also shaped like the letter I. You put it in the action figure thing. I finally found Watashi. Now we're going to switch perspectives. Okay. That's why.
なるほど。
I see. I told Mina about Sai. It was because Mew blurted out the word in a daze, and as it turns out, she had no choice but to speak it. It's because Mew had uttered that word in her delirium, and as a result, they were forced to talk about it. As for other things, like about Kiridera, about Chisato, about the email, about everything that happened at Integral, I had already informed Mina, so now Mina and I have the same amount of information. There's nothing I'm hiding from Mina anymore. If it's Mina is for me, I don't know. What is Mina hiding from me? Then I wouldn't know the answer. Okay. There's nothing left I'm hiding from Mina. If the question were what is Mina hiding from me, then I wouldn't know the answer. Now, by the way, as for the conditions of the occult girl who once used her mysterious abilities to destroy a gymnasium,
よし、行こっか。
who's she? Shall we go? As you can see, she felt much better. Just for a moment, she was groaning in pain. Just a moment ago, she was groaning in pain.
本当に大丈夫なんですか？
Are you sure you're okay?
大丈夫、大丈夫、大丈夫きょ
Okay, Daijobu. Daijobu. And then the last bit is big. Wait. What? Okay. The only thing Google Translate will give me is Mahayana Buddhism.
ちょっと疲れが出ただけだと思うから気にしないで。
I think I'm just a little tired, so don't worry about it. Tired? You didn't look like that, but okay. I narrowed my eyes and looked at Mew's face. Then Mew slapped my
も
shoulder.
う本当に平気だから行こう。
I'm really fine now. Let's go. Where though? What can these guys do? I'm assuming that's a clinic in the background. I opened my stride and began walking steadily. Mina and I look at each other and smile nervously. Okay, 405. I started walking east on the Shuto Expressway again. Mew was striding a few meters ahead of me, leading Mina and me.
それにしてもそのサイっていう特殊能力のこと気になりますね。
Anyway, I'm curious about that special ability called Psy. Did you believe me?
レンマル君、私たちは人が誰もいなくなった世界にいるんですよ。
Renmaru-kun, we are in a world where there is no people left.
こんなことが起こりうるんなら
If something like this could happen,
空からトラックが降ってこようとトランクスが降ってこようと不思議でも何でもありません。
it's no wonder if trucks or trunks fall from the sky. Let's see here. Whether a truck falls from the sky or a pair of trunks falls from the sky, it wouldn't be surprising at all. Imagine adding truck to Mage Arena. Truck! So,
私無関係ではないと思うんです。
of course you would say this. I don't think it's unrelated.
そのサイっていう能力と今私たちが経験しているこの現象
That ability called Psy and this phenomenon that we are currently experiencing. Okay, what's nausea? Nausea sounds kind of rude to me. Nausea. Nausea is why. Dana. That's right. Okay. Dana. I have no objections. I think so too. Yeah, I mean, it's related to what the integral people were saying. People disappeared from the city because time in the world stopped. The reason for this was the execution of the second Eclipse project. I'll leave aside the question of why did I skip part 1 and call it part 2 for now. Huh? Let's put aside for now the question of why they skipped first and went straight to second. Yeah, what's the first Eclipse project? The execution unit is probably a group called the Psy Criminals, who are led by Kiridera, and there is also a higher level organization that is controlling them. By the way, the Psy Criminals, as the name suggests, is a unit made up of Psy users. Also, its leader, Kiridera, can also use Psy. To summarize,
サイの使い手たちによる計画のせいでこんなことに。
because of the plans of the users of Psy, this happened.
だからサイという能力そのものが何か関係してるんじゃないかと思ったんです。
That's why I thought that the ability Psy itself might have something to do with it. But how are they related?
さあ、そこまでは。
Well, until then,
一番手っ取り早いのはキリデラをとっ捕まえてボコボコにして白状させることなんですけどね。
the quickest way is to grab Kiridera, beat him up, and make him confess, right? Yeah, but like, how would you beat him up? Many have tried, and many have failed. Renmaru tried. Like, Rinmaru and Narumi at like the same time tried. Chisato tried. Chisato didn't really have any help though, because Rinmaru ran away and Narumi was handcuffed to a fence. Oh god. Huh? No, that. I thought that was an uncharacteristic way to say it.
そうですか？
Is that so?
こう見えても私、昔はやんちゃなことばかりしてたんですよ。
Even though I look like this, I used to do naughty things all the time, right? Oh, so she claims she has like that, like, say-so look or something? What kind of mischief is she? I was curious but decided not to ask. Mina puts her hand to her mouth and giggles. Wait, so she used to beat people up? However, her face quickly returned to its original serious look.
まあ、それはさておき。
Well, aside from that.
とにかくどうにかしてキリデラとコンタクトを取りたいですよね。
Anyway, I'd like to somehow get in touch with Kiridera, right? But what if his time is frozen? Or he's caught in this quantum superposition where he's everywhere at once? No matter what you say, I don't think there is such a person in this world. I turn my gaze to the end of the road, far into the distance. Mew's back looked small there, and I couldn't see anything else moving.
せめて情報だけでもつかめるといいんですけど。
I hope I can at least get some information. Information?
キリデラに関する情報ですよ。
Information about Kiridera. Well, it's better to understand. But how? When I asked Mina, she answered.
リブロクに行ってみるっていうのはどうでしょう？
What do you think about going to Rebrock? Oh, they're going to investigate there. Are we going to have like parallel investigations of Rebrock between this group and Narumi? I stopped in my tracks. Mina also stopped. I thought about it for 3 seconds. We got something else for the characters to do. Progress the plot. After thinking about it for 3 seconds, I let out a short voice like the beating of a drum. Soreta. Soreda. Sareda. Why didn't I notice it until now? So that's like, that's it. Why didn't I notice it until now? Kiridera is a student of Rebrock. If we go to Rebrock, we'll find out his address. Well, maybe. Then I might be able to search his room and find some clues. So, Mina, do you know where Rebrock is?
確か官庁街の先にあったはずです。
If I remember correctly, it must have been beyond the government district. Then, is this the right path?
そうなりますね。
It will happen. Okay, so they are going the right way. That's right. Good. It looks like the long journey up to this point will not be in vain. Mina and I started walking again. Or where is Mew going? Anyway, going to Rebrock is a great idea. Chisato is also a student of Rebrock.
例の青い髪の少女のことですね。
Are you talking about the blue-haired girl?
彼女もサイが使えるんでしたっけ？
So she can use Sai too? That's right. Also, it was Chisato who sent me the email. Well, so you thought. Well, that's what I thought up until just now, but I've changed my mind a little.
というと？
What do you mean? Chisato is not the sender after all. Because there are too many things that are incomprehensible.
例えば？
For example, first of all, yeah. I don't understand why Chisato knows my cell phone email address.
予想しやすいアドレスだったのでは？
Wasn't the address easy to predict?
例えば名前そのものがアドレスになっていたとか。
For example, the name itself, your name itself was your address. No, that string doesn't include a name. The address is a combination of my favorite color and celestial object.
レンマル君の好きな色って？
I know someone who did that. Their email address was like a place they liked, a color, and their name. Mine is really weird. It's derived from my name a little bit, but it has the wrong middle initial. It'll confuse people. What is Renmaru-kun's favorite color? Like, if you think it's my name, you would think my middle initial is a different letter than it actually is. What is Renmaru-kun's favorite color? No, I forgot what his email address is. I've been playing Blueprints recently, so this is white, right? This is blue, right? This is... I don't see... Is this red? Or is that red? I don't know if red's even on here. Okay, we're gonna go the opposite way. Blue. Okay, so this is blue. This is Ao. Yellow. So this is yellow. That might be a good choice because it's the color of Mew's dress. I would pick yellow if I didn't pick anything else. Red. Ah, so this is Aka. So that's red. Green. This is green. This is Midori. White. Yep, Shio is white. It's this. It's correct. Black is Kuru, right? But what is the symbol? Okay, Kuro, that's this. So this was blue, that's white, that's black. What was green again? I already forgot. Okay, that's green. This is yellow. What a watercolor is. Orange. Not on here. It's orangey, right? Brown. Not on here. Light blue. Oh! Mizuro is light blue. Okay. I'm gonna go with yellow because that's what Mew was wearing. Yellow.
好きな天体は？
What's your favorite celestial body? Well, I would pick Saturn, right? Because my favorite color is yellow. So this is the moon, obviously. This is the water planet. So this is Neptune, right? No, that's not Neptune. Okay, that's interesting. I forgot what this kanji is. I should have remembered. The gold planet. No, this is actually Saturn. It's like the Earth planet. That's interesting. So Saturn's the bottom one. Is this Mars? Is Mars the fire planet? Yeah, it's the fire planet. Interesting. What's Mercury? Oh, Mercury's the water planet. Okay, so this is Mercury. I find it's kind of weird from my perspective, but okay, what is Venus? Venus is the gold planet. Okay, so this is Venus. Wait, is this the Earth? Wait a second. That's the Earth, isn't it? No, it's not the Earth. The Sun. No, we already know what the Sun is. The Sun is that. Yeah, we don't have the Sun. Oh, no, it is the Sun. Okay. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, the Moon, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Got it. I'm going to pick Saturn because I picked yellow. It was my favorite color. The ammonia in Saturn makes it yellow, right? The methane in the atmospheres of Neptune make it blue, right? And they're kind of mixed together. There's some methane and some ammonia in Uranus, which makes it kind of this more greenish blue or lighter blue. And of course, Jupiter's cool because that's all kinds of different stuff, right? So it's all kinds of different colors. Saturn.
じゃあレンマル君のアドレスは
Then what is Renmaru-kun's address? Yellow Saturn at klopsky.jp. Do you think this is an easy to predict address? When I asked Mina, oh, this way. When I asked Mina, gave a wry smile.
いいえ無理そうですね当てるのは
No, it seems impossible guessing. Right? There's no way Chisato knows my email address. Moreover, I love how, like, it cuts off at Saturn. It's kind of funny. It doesn't give you one more option. Moreover, I continued as if I was about to fold. Before that, how does Chisato know about me? Even though I don't know about her. There's more. The email said something like, at noon on the 20th, Mew will be killed on the top floor of Integral. How on earth did Chisato know about those things?
千里とキリデラは知り合いだったのでは
Maybe Chisato and Kiradera knew each other. That's what we were talking about. So, she heard it directly from
あ
Kiradera.
るいは
Or,
頭の中を覗き込んだのかも
maybe she looked into his head. Right, 'cause she's gonna think that mind reading is possible. Huh?
千里って子はサイの使い手なんでしょ
Chisato is the user of Psi, right?
だとするとそういうことができたとしても不思議じゃないですよね
If that's the case, it wouldn't be surprising if something like that could happen, right? Mine is like, well, we don't know exactly what all of Psi could do, right? What can Psi not do?
つまりテレパシーみたいなことが
In other words, it's like telepathy. No, it's not telepathy. If there is a possibility, it is mind fusion.
マインドフュージョン
Mind fusion?
何ですかそれ
What is that? It seems like a take on mind meld from Star Trek. Mind fusion refers to direct contact mind fusion ability. Mind fusion refers to the ability of direct contact-based mental fusion. By touching skin to skin, they can overlap each other's feelings, fuse them, and become one. Well, that's another interesting way to make that literal. You can know what the other person is thinking and feeling, and conversely, you can also send your own thoughts and ideas into the other person's head. It's kind of that kind of mysterious ability.
なるほど。
I see.
だったら千里って子はその能力を使って犯行の時刻と場所を知ったのかも。
Then Shisato might have used that ability to know the time and place of the crime. Is that really the case? Even if that's the case, that doesn't explain why she knows me or my address.
ところで蓮丸くん、どうしてそんなことを知ってるんですか？
By the way, Renmaru-kun, how do you know that? Is that so?
マインドフュージョンのことですよ。
It's about mind fusion. Oh, that's because I have actually experienced it. When I was little, you read my mind. Okay, so before we get the flashback, we're gonna go back over to you would think it would be Renmaru's perspective, but oh, she brought did she bring the flashback drive back to the computer lab? I would have thought she would have just plugged it right into the Grim Reaper thing. I return to the 12th section office. I head to my seat. On the desk is a pile of documents piled up haphazardly. I placed my helmet on top of it and sat down in a chair. Is that this pile? That's a pretty thick pile. Well, I mumbled and woke up my computer, which had fallen asleep. I type in the extremely long password and cleared fingerprint authentication, vein authentication, and iris authentication. Then my computer woke up in an instant like an elementary school student on a field trip. Next, I took out the eye-shaped USB memory from my pocket. When I stick it into the connection terminal, the machine asks me to enter my password again. Yeah, this is something you don't do, by the way. In any sort of, not even classified, like just any sort of anything where there are people there that could have access to classified or even just sensitive information. You don't just take a flash drive that you found and you plug it into a computer. You don't ever do that. Because it could just crawl the computer and find information on it, or give you ransomware, or do all kinds of stuff. A security lock has been placed on the memory itself. So this is kind of like not good protocol, but whatever, she's doing it anyway. I would at least ask the boss first. Or use like a burner computer that's not connected to a network. Like, that's probably how you deal with like random flash drives, is you have a computer with nothing else on it and not connected to the network, and you plug the flash drive in there. Unless this authentication is cleared, the data recorded inside cannot be accessed. However, this doesn't seem to make me pessimistic. As a courtesy, there was a sentence attached to the authentication screen that seemed to be a hint. 1. The one that cut my hair. I see, the answer is the password. Although I would be worried about getting the case correct, but you could try multiple different case formats. If so, the words you should enter are... What's a ya? I have to make it. Why is it now Romanji? Okay. Ya. Na. Yiba. Yeah, but what does it mean? I'm gonna do regular Google. Yanagiba knife. Oh, I get it. It's steak knife. Because she cut her hair with the steak knife. Okay, you have to know about the knives. I thought the Yanagiba knife was like a type of knife you use to like cut hair with. It doesn't matter, because that's not the type of knife that Narumi used to cut her hair. Yes, I think Makoto is probably talking about that time. 9 years ago in the pool in the summer, when I rescued Makoto from the bottom of the pool. At that time, I used a steak knife to cut Makoto's hair that was tangled in the drain. So the answer is steak knife. I typed that and hit the enter key. The result was displayed immediately. Authentication succeeded. 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3? So that means there's 2 more. As expected, the following hint appeared on the screen. 2. What I love. What Makoto loves, that's the only thing. I don't remember. I'll try stars. Star. I type stars. Oh, that's probably wrong. Into the text box and hit the enter key. As before, the results will be displayed instantly. Authentication successful, 2 out of 3. I don't know how I guessed that right. I just guessed randomly. Okay, the next one is the last one. The final password, the hint was this. My first words. I see. So you came. Do you think I, a CPS, will forget? I typed this while grumbling. Oh, Tadaima is I'm home, right? Tadaima. 9 years ago in the summer, I said this to Makoto as she regained consciousness by the pool. Welcome back. Oh, that's Makoto. And Makoto answered, "I'm home." Therefore, Makoto's first word cannot be anything other than Tadaima, at least for me. With that in mind, I hit the enter key hard. BAM! The result was exactly as I expected. I just hit my enter key hard. Authentication was successful. It somehow did not break, which is good, because I hit it hard. The data in memory will be expanded shortly. In the opened window, 1 audio file and 1 image file were saved. The title of the former is tunarumi.wav, and the title of the latter is tunarumi.jpg. The title itself was the same, just the extension was different. Tunarumi. No matter how anyone looks at it, there is no doubt that this file is addressed to me. We're gonna get unsubtitled audio now. Now that I'm here, I'm finally convinced. I already guessed it from the first password. As expected, Makoto hid the USB memory in case I would find it. I mumbled quietly and immediately opened the file. Let's start with the audio data. When I put the headphones to my ears, I heard Makoto's familiar voice.
誠です。成美先輩ですね。
I'm Makoto. Narumi senpai, right? Well, this looks like audacity.
この USB メモリのパスワード、3つすべてを知っているのは先輩と私だけですから。
Only my senior and I know all 3 passwords for this USB memory.
念のため予防線を張っておいたんですよ。
Just in case, I put up a precautionary
も
line.
しも先輩以外の誰かが先にこのメモリを見つけてしまったとしても、中のデータにはアクセスできないようにしておいたのです。
Even if someone other than my senpai found this memory first, I made sure that they would not be able to access the data inside. Look behind you and make sure no one's looking over your shoulder, Narumi.
とはいえ、このメモリの中には 特に重要な情報は記録されていません。
However, no particularly important information is recorded in this memory. Well, we'll see about that.
さらに機密性を高めるためです。
This is to further increase confidentiality.
先輩は今公安のマシンを使っていませんか？
Are you using a public security machine now?
だとしたら私がこうして話していることは全て盗聴されている可能性があります。
If that's the case, there's a possibility that everything I'm saying is being wiretapped.
公安の内部に潜んでいるスパイに
To the spy lurking within the public security.
唯一信用できるのは成美先輩、あなただけしかいませんでした。
The only person I could trust was you, Narumi-senpai.
だからこうして先輩だけにメッセージを。
That's why I'm sending a message only to my senpai or senior or whatnot.
さて、時間がありません。要点を手短に伝えます。
Well, I don't have much time. I'll get to the main points briefly.
まずは現在の私に課せられている任務についてです。
First of all, let's talk about the current mission assigned to me.
第2エクリプス計画なる不穏な策動についての情報収集。これが私の任務でした。
Collecting information on the disturbing plot known as Eclipse Project 2. This was my mission.
第2エクリプス計画とは、これまでの人類の在り方を根底から覆すべく画策された極めて危険な思想に基づく非人道的謀略構想のことです。
The second Eclipse Project is an inhuman plot based on extremely dangerous ideology designed to fundamentally overturn the way humans have existed up until now.
いきなりこんなことを言っても何が何だかさっぱりわからないでしょうね。
If you suddenly say something like this, you probably won't understand what's going on at all.
もっと詳しく説明したいのですが、さっき言った理由からやはりここでは無理です。
I would like to explain in more detail, but for the reasons I mentioned earlier, I can't do it here.
別の媒体に何もかもが記録されています。計画の全貌や画策した組織について。
Everything is recorded in another medium, the whole story of the plan and the organization that planned it.
探してください。とある場所に隠しておきました。
Please look for it. I hid it in a certain place.
先輩ならすぐに見つけることができるでしょう。
If you're a senpai, then you'll be able to find it right away.
私はこれから計画を阻止すべく特殊なアプローチを試みます。
From now on, I will try a special approach to thwart the plan.
具体的に言うと消えるのです。この世から。
To be more specific, I will disappear from this world.
だから先輩、後のことはよろしく頼みます。先輩だけが頼りなのです。
So is Makoto a Psy user? So, senpai, please take care of the rest. I can only rely on you.
最後にもう一度だけ言っておきます。
Finally, I'll say it one more time.
公安にはスパイがいます。決して誰も信用しないように。
There are spies in the public security system. Never trust anyone.
くれぐれも慎重に行動してください。では、さよなら。
It's like Otemachi or the boss. Bad guys. Please act with extreme caution. Now, goodbye. I took off my headphones and looked around the room. There are several office workers in the room who are not agents. Oh, well, great. Refuses to translate this. They seem to be focused on their own work and didn't even glance in my direction. There's a spy in here? I look at the boss's desk. The boss wasn't there. The seat for Otemachi is also empty. No one is sitting in it. They are probably still at the university hospital. Anyway, the audio data. Nothing about the important things are mentioned. It just says she planned to die, which we already know. And well, it further enforces that it was a suicide. The most important issues have not been addressed at all. And we already knew that there was something called the Second Eclipse Project 2, and it was supposed to do something radical. I had no idea what this was all about. Whole story is said to be recorded in another medium.
探してください。とある場所に隠しておきました。
Please look. I have hidden it in a certain place. Yes, please find it. I have hidden it in a certain
先
place.
輩ならすぐに見つけることができるでしょう。
If you are a senpai, you will be able to find it easily. Where is that certain place? Well, there's a PNG. Ah, I see. I suddenly remembered something and looked at the computer monitor again. WAV file, audio data were not the only things stored on the USB memory. There was also JPG file, was also there. Let's open it right away. Then this image was displayed. Oh, we're going back. A familiar sight. The weather and time are different from then, so the atmosphere is a little different. But the outline of the forest, the shape of the boardwalk, and the placement of the streetlights, benches, and other objects remain the same. I understand. What kind of scenery is this? The answer is definitely Yoiki Park. "10 years ago now, during the summer vacation of 2002. Ever since the gymnasium collapse incident, the distance between Mew and I rapidly shortened. Our conversations increased, and we started walking side by side on the way to and from school. And once summer vacation started, we started hanging out and playing together once every 3 days. The playground we decided to be... The playground was always the church in the neighborhood. A shabby wooden hut next to the chapel. That attic was Mew and I's secret base. The reason I first visited a church was because the pastor approached me as I was passing by. Would you like to join the summer children's school? If you listen to the story till the end, you'll receive Why don't you all join our summer vacation children's school? If you listen to the whole presentation, you'll get a treat as a reward. It's like a vacation Bible school-like thing. Mew and I were easily lured by the sound of reward. However, only the first day we listened to the pastor's words, and from the second day onwards we began killing time by hiding in the attic of the hut. Then, when the sermon was over and it was time for the reward, Mew and I joined the line of children waiting for it with innocent faces. That day was no different. Mew and I secluded ourselves in the attic and played a certain game until school was over. The name of the game was nothing special, just a normal game of rock, paper, scissors. However, simply playing rock, paper, scissors is not fun at all. Mew and I decided to bet on something. A trading card from Monstrous Monstrosity, which was popular at school at the time. The loser must offer one to the winner. With such simple rules that only second graders could play, the game started right away.
それじゃあ行くよ。
And let's go. Well, you would hear that if that came from an attic.
最初はグー、じゃんけん。
First, let's play rock, paper, scissors. Oh no, I have to play rock, paper, scissors. Let's go with paw.
チョキ。
She went with chokey. Whatever that is. Paw. Well, I lost. So I guess, I don't know which is which, but okay. I had 120 trading cards in my hand. I collected what little pocket money I had and with all my heart and soul. I managed to save up this money by carefully budgeting my meager allowance, and it was truly a painstaking effort. Wow! Well, Google Translate completely missed. But I can't help it. Since I lost, I have to hand over one card. I spread out 120 cards in a fan shape and held them out in front of Mew. 120 in a
どれ
fan
にしよ
shape?
うかな。
I wonder which one I should choose. Among them was a super rare platinum card that none of my friends had. What should I do if it is taken away? Oh Lord, save me! Was it a bad idea to play while skipping school? Japanese, there's no difference between katakana for pray and play. Which is kind of funny. Was it perhaps a mistake that I offered up prayers so conveniently while skipping school? That's funny.
決めた。これにしよ
I've decided, let's do this. What Mew pulled was a super rare platinum card. And then he yells out, and then he got found out. Yep. Zuborgia!
う。うしししししし。
Hey, you're acting like a cheat.
してないよ。
I didn't do it. Don't lie, it's impossible. The probability of drawing that card in one shot is 1 out of 120.
だから、何？
So what?
他の雑魚カードを引く確率だって同じでしょ？ 120分の1。
Oh, we're gonna do this again. Okay. The probability of drawing other Zako cards is the same, right? 1 out of 120.
なのにレンマルはレアカードを引いたらありえないって言って雑魚カードを引いたらありえるって言うの？
But Renmaru, when you draw a rare card, you say it's impossible. But when you draw a Zako card, you say it's possible?
それってなんか変だよ。
It's kind of weird.
とにかくもう一度やってみよ
Anyway, let's try again.
う。次にレンマルが勝ったらこのカード取り返せるかもしれないんだし。
If Renmaru wins next time, he might be able to get his card back. I pinched my left earlobe with my fingertip of my right hand. Ushi, I understand. I'll definitely win next
ま
time.
あ無理だと思うけど。
Well, I don't think it's possible. You just cut... Did you say something?
何も。
Nothing.
それじゃあ行くよ。準備はいい？
Then let's go. Are you ready? Oh.
せーの。最初はグー。じゃんけん。
Ready, set, go, rock, paper, scissors. I'm gonna repeat.
ジョキ。
And she wins again. Pa. Well, I lost again. Mew smiles and pulls out one card from the remaining 119 cards in my stock.
アリンチャス。
I don't think that has a translation. Kuso! This time...
そうだね。次は絶対レンマルが勝つと思うよ。
That's right, I think Rimaru will definitely win next time, right? Oh, is she reading his mind? Is that the point? How dare you talk to me like that? But...
じゃんけんぽん。
Shan Kin Pon.
じゃんはい。
In Jan Hai.
ちぱ。
Kuchi Pa.
ちけぴ。
Shikepi. No matter how many times I tried, I couldn't win. In fact, 120 consecutive losses. Card stock has finally run out. Arine. I howled in a beautiful soprano beautiful boy soprano like an Austrian boys choir. Why Austrian? A loud yell at a beautiful boy soprano voice like a member of the Austrian boys choir. You're gonna get caught up in here. Mew stepped back on the spot, waving a stack of nearly 200 cards like a fan.
パタパタパタと。世は満足じゃ。
I'm satisfied. Don't do it, you
こ
trickster.
れこれ。人聞きの悪いことを言うではない。
I'm not saying something bad that people have heard. I'm just mind reading you. Although he said skin on skin was required. I don't know how she's like keeps touching him, but whatever. Hey, don't say such things that will give people the wrong impression. No matter how you look at it, 120 consecutive wins must be a scam.
やれやれ。王女、浮き輪が。
Oops, I cut her off. Because the translation didn't make any sense. Oh dear, the princess's inflatable ring is perfectly round. What? If you're going to put it that way, then you're being a bad loser.
ほう。どちらでもよいではないか。
What? Either one is fine. Anyway, this match is null and void. I'll get those 120 trading cards back.
ちょっと待てよ。そんなのずるいよ。
Hey, wait a minute, that's cheating. You're the one who cheated.
私はズルなんてしてないもん。
I'm not cheating.
スポーツマンシップにのっとり、正々堂々と。
In accordance with the spirit of sportsmanship, let's compete fairly and honorably. You have it back. Without asking, I reached for the stack of trading cards. Then Mew sidestepped it.
Yeah.
No. Give it back.
やだ。
Basically, no. Give them
嫌
back.
なもんは嫌。もう私のもんだもん。
I don't like that. They're already mine.
ほら、つばつけちゃったもんね。
Hey, you're spitting on me.
うるさい。このタートルネック坊主。
Noisy, this turtleneck boss. If this happens, even if I force myself.
やれるもんならやってみなさいよ。
You can do it, try it.
言いたいところだけど、
I just wanted to say.
正直やめといた方がいいと思うよ。
Honestly, I think it's better to stop, right? What is that?
だってレイマル絶対負けちゃうから。
Because, Renmaru, you will definitely lose. Isn't it great, Kony? That's just perfect. You. Okay, this is what the Google Translate says. That's just perfect, you bastard. A young roar as I jump towards Mew. Like a rugby tackle with the tip of my shoulder. On Mew's side. I got it. I was going to, however. She disappeared. Just before our shoulders touched, I saw Mew. Suddenly there was no sound. However, once the body starts moving, it's not easy to stop. I hugged the empty void and rushed toward the pile of cardboard in the attic. The cardboard boxes falling down like an avalanche. I pushed through them and finally showed my face. Fua! Mew's proud smile was waiting in front of me.
だから言ったのに。
That's why I said it. What do you mean just now?
前にいたところではサイって呼ばれてたけどね。
Where I was before, they called me Sai. Sai? We're trying to remember something. Miu put her finger on my forehead and drew the letter U. Anyway. Next, she draw a vertical bar in the middle of the U shape. Wasn't that thing goes sigh, 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 sigh? I don't remember where it comes from. A sigh.
これがサイの記号。
This is the symbol of sigh.
23番目のギリシャ文字なんだって。
It is the 23rd Greek letter. Not the 12th. Not the 24th. The 23rd. Sigh? Sigh? I mumbled vaguely and asked. Then did you pick a rare card out of the 120 card? Then went... Yeah. You won 120 times in a row at rock, paper, scissors?
そうだよ。
That's right. Mew answered without any remorse. Well then what happened earlier must have been a scam. And that was the time. In the corner of my vision, I saw a small shadow moving. It was one rat. The mouse quickly trotted over, climbed up Mew's back, and sat down on Mew's shoulder.
そうでちゅか？僕はイカ様だとは思わないでちゅけどね。
And the rat says, Is that so? I don't think I'm a cheat, though. The mouse said. Or the rat. Said the mouse. Said the mouse? The clue has been found. Yoiki Park. Yoiki Park is right next to the Hotel Rev. Yeah, because you could see it from outside the window. I got it from my seat and headed to for the exit of the room. When I was about to leave, the door opened. It was the boss who showed up. You're back, aren't you? You again. How about Makoto?
手術は終わった。無事だ。心配することはないらしい。
The surgery is over. She's safe. Looks like there's nothing to worry about. When she has preserved neurological function. Something hot is rising in the corners of my eyes. I yawned so that no one would notice. I rubbed my eyelids pretending to be sleepy. So, did you talk to Makoto?
いや、まだ面会謝絶だ。麻酔も切れてないだろうし。
No, I'm not allowed to visit her yet. The anesthesia hasn't worn off. Okay, so they don't know if she has preserved neurological function.
今頃お花畑でモンシロチョウと戯れてるんじゃないか。
Aren't you playing with the cabbage butterflies in the flower garden by now? What does that mean? I bet you're frolicking with butterflies in a flower field right about now. I went to ask the boss about Chisato, Kiradera, Rinmaru, and Mew. The boss told me the following. Chisato's surgery continues. Looks like it's not over yet. Wow, they're doing a lot of cutting. There's a lot of inflammation. The whereabouts of Kiradera, Rinmaru, and Mew remain unknown. They are conducting interviews and investigations, but they say they have not found any clues. While the people on the ground are as useless as ever. Those on the ground are those who work on the floors above the first floor of the Metropolitan Police Department. We, on the other hand, are underground. The office of Section 12, in other words, here, is located on the second basement floor of the Metropolitan Police Department. By the way, boss.
なんだ
What? There is one thing that bothered me. I take the plunge and ask the boss that question. It's about Makoto. Do you really think that was a suicide? The boss shook his head in amazement and answered,
おいおいなるみ
Hey Narumi,
あのアームロックのことを忘れたのか
did you forget about the arm lock? Of course I remember, but arm locks can only be applied from the inside. This means that if it was a murder, the culprit was somewhere in the room. The windows are stuck in place. The floor is the sixth floor. It is impossible to escape. However, other than Makoto, there was no one else in that room. The boss attests. Yes, that's right. I didn't see the arm lock being applied with my own eyes. By the time I got to the room, it had already been disconnected. One possibility comes to mind here. What would happen if the boss was lying? What if the boss cut the arm lock from the inside of the door instead of from the outside?
それに遺書らしきものもあるしな
There's spies inside. I know what they're trying to set up here. They're trying to set up the boss as a villain, but it's so early in the game, and this author is known for his twists, so I don't know if I can really just accept... that sounds like a distraction to me. And there's also something that looks like a suicide note.
誠からお前の携帯に送られてきたメール
An email sent to your cell phone from
2
Makoto.
通目には自殺をほのめかすようなことが書かれていただろ
In the second letter, there was something written that hinted at suicide, right? Yes, but there's tricks. Indeed, it was so. And there's something she said in her audio recording in her .wav file that hinted at it, too. She said she was going to leave this world, right? Narumi-senpai, this will probably be my last request. Thank you so much for everything. I believe that we will meet again someday. Furthermore, although the boss doesn't know it yet, there are 2 other things that look like suicide notes. The Grim Reaper, the Angel of Death doll, although that had an alternative purpose. The other thing is the audio data from earlier.
私はこれから計画を阻止すべく特殊なアプローチを試みます。
I will now try a special approach to thwart the
具体
plan.
的に言うと消えるのです。この世から。
To be more specific, I will disappear from this world. It is hard to imagine that all 3 of these were fabricated. Especially since that was recorded in the audio, what was recorded in the audio data was definitely Makoto's real voice. If that's the case, it's very likely suicide. Maybe I was thinking a little too much. Moreover, I doubted the boss even more. I wiped away the evil thoughts and said just one thing. That's right. Then the boss turned a sharp gaze towards me.
どうしていきなりそんなこと
Why did you suddenly do something like that? I answered. Because Makoto's actions were so incomprehensible. So I was just thinking.
まあ確かに自殺した動機については依然として謎のままだしな
Well, it's true that the motive for killing oneself still remains a mystery. That's true, but everything she did in the 14 hours before she was discovered is incomprehensible. The time Makoto checked into the Hotel Rev was exactly 1 a.m. 2 hours and 21 minutes later, at 3:21 a.m., Makoto sent me the first email. Subject is, I'm in a waterhole. Content is Revelation 612. At this time, Makoto was definitely trying to lead me to room 612 of the Hotel Rev. However, I did not notice this first email. Aside from the reason, 7 hours and 47 minutes later at 11:08 a.m., Makoto sent me a second email. Email starting with XXX level 6. To summarize briefly, the text says, about the second Eclipse project. It said, go to Integral to protect Mew. Now I have a question. What was Makoto trying to get me to do in the first email? Why was the second email sent almost 8 hours later? What on earth was Makoto doing during those 8 hours? I'll continue. Makoto was found covered in blood in the bathtub around 3:15 p.m. I'm just guessing, but I think Makoto severed her carotid artery a few minutes before we arrived. This is a bit... Do you think the timing is perfect?
そうか
Really?
誠は俺が例の金の子でギコギコやってる音を聞いて自殺を決行したのかもしれん。
Makoto may have decided to, what do they say, unalive? After hearing the sound of me making a sharp noise with the
つま
hacksaw.
り俺がロックを切断している間に奴はネックを切り裂いたってわけだ。
So, while I was cutting the lock, she cut the neck. Right, she had warning because there was a lock. I see. If that's the case, does the timing make sense? In short, Makoto decapitated herself, circulation-wise, in the hope that she would be discovered soon. In that case, Makoto would have taken into consideration the possibility of survival. In other words, if it was okay even if it was an attempt. Yeah, it's like an obscuration. Well, that's Makoto's case. I'll ask her directly later.
そうだな。
Well, that
間もなく
Makoto's
お花
case.
畑から帰ってくる頃だろ
That's right, they'll be coming back from the flower garden soon. That's right, they should be coming back from the flower field soon, whatever that means. The boss stroked the stubble around his chin and continued.
う。ところで成海、
By the way, Narumi,
誠から送られてきた一通目のメール、どうして気がつかなかったんだ？
the first email sent by Makoto, how come you didn't notice? I said, fiddling with the shoulder strap of my bra with my left hand. As usual, it might be a gas leak. Well, the email was buried and it was marked as red. It might be a way to release some tension.
ガス抜き？
Gas release? You know, right?
ああ、あのパンクのことか。
Oh, you mean that punk?
お前は CPS、サイクロペディア症候群。
Is this just what she means is brain fart? Is that the expression she's supposed to use? You have CPS, Cyclopedia Syndrome.
何でもかんでも記憶しちまうから、その弊害で時々頭がパンクしちまうことがある。
You memorize everything, so sometimes your head gets blown out as a result of
い
that.
や、そのパンクという事態を避けるためにガス抜きするのか。
No, to avoid the flat tire situation, let's vent the gas. You mean avoid the blowout? Not flat? That's right, that creates a blank space in my memory. Text Vector freaks out. Back in the day, it wasn't uncommon for me to suddenly find myself in an unfamiliar place without realizing how I got there.
だが最近は起こらなくなったって言ってなかったか？
But didn't you say that it doesn't happen anymore? Maybe it happened
っ
again.
てことは何か？
What do you mean?
一通目のメールは、お前が気づかないうちに自分自身で開封していったと。
I heard that you opened the first email yourself without you noticing. Maybe, maybe not.
どういうことだ？
What do you mean? No matter what. In short, even I don't understand it. The boss makes a low sound from his throat. That's called fry, by the way. He had his arms folded, his stance heavy, and a stern look on his face. Well, then it's time for me to go.
待てよ、どこ行くつもりだ？
Wait, where are you going? Anywhere is fine.
ああ？いいわけねえだろ
That can't be
う。
good.
俺はお前にとっての指揮官みたいなもんなんだぞ。
I'm like a commander to you. So?
だからってお前。
Don't sew me, basically. The boss was twitching around his forehead.
志村クラブの件はどうなったんだ？
What happened to
報
the Shimura
告
Club?
まだ受けてないが？
I haven't received the report yet? Is that so? Well, I'll do it now. There is nothing suspicious about the Shimura Club, that's all.
お前な、
You.
ゆうべ志村クラブの幹部と会ったんだろ？
You met with the executives of the Yubei Shimura Club, right? Yes, we met.
で、
So? That's why I just said it. There is something suspicious. Oh, there is something suspicious about the Shimura Club. Is there or is there not? There was nothing suspicious about the Shimura Club at all, okay? And now she says... The suspicious aspects of the Shimura Club are...
だったら速やかに報告書を作成し提出しろ。
In that case, create a report immediately and submit it. Promptly. Aren't you crazy? There is no way I have time for something like that.
お前に課せられた正式な任務は新興思想団体志村クラブに関する調査及びその報告だ。
The official mission assigned to you is to investigate and report on the emerging ideological group, the Shimura Club. I wonder if the Shimura Club is actually like behind the site criminals. So you know there's like a higher villain, right? It just turns out it's them.
上からの指示があるまではそっちを優先しろ。
Until you receive instructions from above, give priority to that. Are you serious about that?
ああ。
Do you know what has happened so far and what is about to happen?
分かってるつもりだ。
I think I understand.
高校生による銃撃事件。凶弾に倒れたのは一人の少女。
A shooting incident by a high school student. A girl was killed by a bullet. No one was actually killed.
犯人は怪しげな術を使うサイキックでトリプル X レベル6に匹敵する有事を引き起こそうとしている。
The culprit is a psychic who uses mysterious techniques and is trying to cause an emergency comparable to XXX Level 6.
その計画の名は第2エクリプス計画。
The name of the plan is Eclipse Project 2.
これに関連して俺の大事な部下が危うく命を失いかけた。
My precious subordinate almost lost his life in connection with this, or her life. If you know...
だが公安はあくまでも政府の組織だ。
But public security is just a government organization.
たとえ12課であろうとも勝手な行動は許されない。
Even if you are in Section 12, selfish actions are not allowed. I glared at my boss. My boss is acting aloof. There is no room for debate anymore. There is no point in just talking about it. I grabbed the helmet from my desk and quickly headed for the exit of the room.
待て、成美。
Wait, Narumi. I won't wait. There is no way I can wait. I slowly approached the door.
分かったよ。
I understand.
それじゃ行き先だけでもいいから教えろ。
Just tell me where you're going. The boss asks. I put my hand on the doorknob and answered. Here's the Hotel Rev. Rebrock. Let's switch this around. Park. Park is Koen, which is that. Okay, so this is the correct answer. We're going to give him the right answer where we're going. Yoiki Park.
どうしてそんなところに
Why are you going to such a place? What was shown in that JPEG image was a view of Yoiki Park taken from the window of room 612 of the Hotel Rev. That's why I went to Yogi Park. But of course I didn't tell the boss about that. It's just a walk, I'll come and cool down.
そうかまあいい
I see, that's fine.
だがその前に大学病院に寄っていけ
But before that, stop by the university hospital. Why?
大手町が待ってるからだお前を
Otamachi is waiting for you. Otamachi? Wait, didn't he assign her to a mission, like, with him together? Why is he now going back to the previous mission? Isn't she doing her job now by doing what she's doing? Jabata. The mouse spoke. I was in second grade at the time, and I was so surprised that I almost urinated. But it would be so pitiful and unseemly to behave in such a rude manner, so I somehow managed to hold back. However, I realized right then and there that it would be difficult to hold back like this. Because a second beast appeared. It was a rabbit.
ネズミさんのおっしゃる通りですとも。
The mouse is right. Yeah.
イカ様などというのはつまらぬ言いがかりですとも。
I know it's a boring thing to say that you're a cheat, but yeah. This is weird. Accusations of cheating are nothing but baseless claims. I opened my eyes so hard that my eyelids rolled back and took a deep breath that felt like my lungs would burst.
どうしたんでちゅかレンマルくん
What's going on, Renmaru-kun?
こんな屋根裏部屋なんかに私のような野ウサギがいたから。
There was a hair like me in this attic.
それでびっくり仰天。腰を抜かしてしまったというわけですね。
That's why you were so surprised that you flinched, right?
おかわいそうに。
Poor thing. No, I mean, that's not the problem.
それじゃこれならどうでちゅか
Then how about this? With those words from the mouse, suddenly, the scenery around me changed. Okay, so they didn't get caught because they got teleported out of there. It was a vast plain full of greenery. The grass stretches all the way to the horizon. Wait, so she can suddenly go to, like, Antarctica if she wants to? What happened? While I was thinking about this, the next visitor arrived.
でこれなら大丈夫やろ
Oh, she went to Africa. What in the world is that? Is it a dragon? Did she summon a dragon? Is there dragons in this universe? Tiger, what? Is this okay? It was a tiger. Alongside that, there was yet another mysterious animal. It was a small dragon with wings on its back.
草原ならウサギがおっても当たり前だけやね
It's only natural for there to be rabbits in grasslands. It's natural for rabbits to exist in grasslands. Well, that's certainly true. But isn't it natural for there to be a dragon anywhere? But what about your own existence when you say that? I felt a strong urge to ask. Whether it's in a meadow or in an attic, there's no way there's a dragon. Because dragons, like unicorns, are fictional.
その通
Here
り
comes the unicorn.
架空の生き物よ
That's right, it's a fictional creature. The voice suddenly reached me from above my head. When I looked, I saw a white horse standing there. No, it's not just a white horse. A long horn protrudes from its forehead. It's a unicorn. On the unicorn's back was a small animal wearing a 10-gallon hat. 10-gallon hat? Small animal wearing a 10-gallon hat was, I guess that's what was called riding on the unicorn's back. Still mounted, he took off his hat, bowed respectfully, and said,
はじめまして。猿です。
Nice to meet you. I'm a monkey. Everything was completely messed up. Sichkame chaka, chin punkam pun, tong chi kong, tin ya wan ya. Are these like Chinese words? I don't understand it at all. In fact, it might be a mistake to try to understand why. Then...
その通りだワン。
That's right, one.
時に理性は理解の妨げとなるのだめ。
Sometimes reason gets in the way of understanding.
感じるのだブー。
I feel it too. Okay, so like... I can hit escape, right? And I'll show you like what this all looks like.
一切の思考を放棄し、すべてをありのままに受け入れるのだもん。
Abandon all thoughts and accept everything as it is. A dog, a sheep, a boar, a cow, 4 animals came one after another and said so. It was here that I finally realized. Rat, rabbit, tiger, dragon, unicorn, monkey, dog, sheep, boar, cow, or ox. All the animals that were here are included in the zodiac. Then the next thing that appears is a snake and a bird. I sat up and looked around. Not present. Question, not present, both snakes and birds. The voice reaches you there. A hoarse voice like that of an old man.
ここじゃ。
The snake says Kokoja. The voice came from nearby. I turned my gaze. The voice was heard from behind you. Behind me. A white snake slithered out from behind. The snake lifts its head and looks at me. Its mouth opened. If he were in shock, it would be so big that it would turn inside out. Then he spit something out of his mouth, as if squeezing it out. It was a ball. It was a baseball.
どれ。
Take, said the snake. Even if you say that, I don't really want to touch it because it's so slimy and disgusting.
いいから取るんじゃ。
Just take it. I reluctantly grabbed the ball with my palm. Wow.
さて、レンマルよ。ここでお主に聞きたいことがある。
Now then, Renmaru, there is something I'd like to ask you. Did God sure say that you could not eat from any of the trees of the garden?
野球のピッチャーマウンドからホームベースまでの距離はどれくらいか知っておるかな？
Do you know the distance from the pitcher's mound to the home plate in baseball? Why would you ask that or whatever?
質問はなしじゃ。さっさと答えろ。
No questions, answer quickly. I will Google. From pitchers pitcher mound to home plate. Okay, 60 feet 6 inches, but like now I have to multiply that by... Okay. 66.2 meters. If you picked 20.66 centimeters, you'd be really in some weird trouble. 18.44 is the answer. 18.44. I had to Google that. I wouldn't know what the answer is otherwise. I don't do deal with anything having to do with baseball. When I answered that, the cow said,
よく知ってるんだもん。正解なんだもん。
I know very well, Mo. That is the correct answer, Mo.
それでは、時速 151.2km のボールが、ピッチャーの手を離れてからホームベースへとたどり着くまでの時間は
Then how long does it take for a ball traveling at 151.2 kilometers per hour to reach home plate after it leaves the pitcher's hand? Well, I do 18.44 divided by 151.2 times 10 to the third.
ただしボールのリリースポイントはマウンドよりも前になるため、今は便宜的にボールの飛行距離を 17.64 メートルとして計算するでちゅう。
However, since the ball's release point is in front of the mound, for now we will calculate the ball's flight distance as 17.64 for convenience.
つまり時速151.2キロの球が 17.64 メートルを移動するのにかかる時間はということになるかと。はい。
Oh man. Okay, yeah, I guess that means how long does it take for a ball traveling 151.2 kilometers per hour to travel 17.64 meters? Yeah, yes. 10 months and 10 days. Well, that would be wrong. I presume that's seconds. Okay, great. So 17.64 divided by 151.200 is, okay, so is that 1e minus 4-ish number, right? And then we take that and then we multiply that by 60 and we get what? How did I mess this up? Right, that's 0.0, that's 0.00016 repeating hours. Do you know how many minutes that is? You just multiply how many? Oh, I have to do minutes and seconds. Oh, I think I get it. Okay. That times 360. Oh, okay. 3600. 0.42.
おお、ガキのくせになかなかやるやないけ、坊主。
Oh, you're a kid, but you're not doing well, Bows. What? What's wrong?
正解だがや。
That's correct, but I did it.
問題はあと2つあるわ。次よ。
There are two more questions. Next.
アメリカのメジャーリーグにガブリエル・バルコロフという選手がいます。
There's a player in the American Major League called Gabriel Barkoloff.
バルコロフの打率は3割5分。とても優秀なバッターなんだワン。
Barkolov's batting average is 0.35. He's a very good batter.
そのバルコロフがピッチャーの投げたボールを見てからバットを振り始めるまでにかかる時間はどれぐらいだと思うめ？
How long do you think it takes for Barkolov to start swinging the bat after seeing the ball thrown by the pitcher? Well, you see, you kind of anticipate the pitch, right? So, you know, it's not seeing the ball thrown by the pitcher, it's the pitcher like winding up and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna Google human reaction time. It's about 0.3. Okay, we're gonna put this in, we're gonna guess 0.3 and see if that's correct or not. Maybe around 0.3 seconds?
外れだブー。
You're a loser, boo.
正解は約 0.2 秒なんだも
The correct answer is 0.2 seconds. Okay, well, I guess I... Hooey on me.
まあ正確には 0.182 秒なんじゃがな。
Well, to be exact, it's 0.182 seconds. How am I supposed to know that?
では最後の問題でちゅ。
Okay, let's move on to the last question.
ええ長くなりましたがこれが最後なのです。
Yeah, yeah, it's been a long time, but this is the last one, yes?
バルコロフがバットを振り始めてからボールに接触するまでの時間はどれぐらいやと思う？
How long do you think it takes for Barkolov to make contact with the ball after he starts swinging the bat? How am I supposed to know this? Okay, so if it's... The ball takes 0.42... 0.42 minus 0.185 is 0.235. So we're going to go with the first answer. I think it's about 0.24 seconds.
どうやりゃ賢いね。
How clever.
正解よ。
That is correct. What does that mean?
お分かりになっていただけましたかな？
Did you understand?
時速 151.2 キロのボールがホームベースへとたどり着くまでの時間は 0.42 秒なんだワン。
I get a B, I guess. Like those, out of those 4 questions or whatever. Well, was that 4 questions or 5? If it was 4, I get a C. The time it takes for a ball traveling at 151.2 kilometers per hour to reach home base is 0.42 seconds.
速球とはいえ、もちろんバルコロフはこの程度の速さの球なら数えきれないほど打ち返したことがあるんだめ。
Though it's a fastball, of course Barkolov has hit a ball of this speed back countless times.
さてここでよく考えてみてほしいんだブー。
Now I want you to think carefully about this.
バルコロフがボールを見てからバットを振り始めるまでにかかる時間は 0.182 秒なんだも。
The time it takes for Barkolov to start swinging the bat after seeing the ball is 0.182 seconds.
さらにそのバットがボールを捉えるまでの時間は 0.24 秒じゃ。
Furthermore, the time it takes for that bat to catch the ball is 0.24 seconds.
つまり合計で 0.422 秒かかることになりまちゅ。
In other words, it will take a total of 0.422 seconds.
あれれあれれ変ですね。変ですぞこれは。はい。
It's weird, yes?
一体バルコロフはいつの瞬間のボールを見て球種やコースを判断しとるんや？
At what point does Barkolov look at the ball and judge the type and course of the pitch?
単純に計算すりゃ、ピッチャーの手を離れてから 0.002 秒後ってことになるだがね。
If you do simple calculations, it will be 0.002 seconds after it leaves the pitcher's hand.
マイナス。
Minus.
これはどういうことかというと、
What does this mean?
バルコロフは少なくとも 0.002 秒先の未来を見通すことができるってことだワン。
Barkolov can at least see into the future 0.002 seconds in advance. He anticipates the pitch. That's nonsense. That's it.
で、ミュウちゃんがじゃんけんの時にやったのも実はこれと同じことなんだめ。
So what Mew-chan did when playing rock, paper, scissors is actually the same thing.
それをイカサマだって言うならバルコロフもイカサマをしてるってことになっちゃうブー。
If you call it cheating, then you're saying Barkolov is also cheating.
うんや。 バルコロフだけじゃなく、ほとんど全てのスポーツ選手がペテン師になんだもん。
Yeah, not just Barkolov, but almost all athletes are cheaters. What?
とま、そういうわけじゃ。
Well, that's not it.
繰り返しになるが、ミュウはイカサマをしたわけじゃない。
Once again, Mew did not cheat.
そのことを伝えるために、我々はこうしてやってきたんじゃ。
That's what we came here to tell you. I looked around. Mouse, rabbit, tiger, dragon, unicorn, monkey, dog, sheep, boar, cow, snake, and Mew. 24 eyes were gently looking down at my figure buried in the grass.
ところで、この種の予知能力は、
By the way, this kind of predictive ability is...
何もミュウやバルコロフや、その他のスポーツ選手だけに備わった特別な力というわけではない。
This is not a special power that only Mew, Barkarov, or other athletes possess.
人は皆、ほんの少しの未来。0.5 秒程度先の未来なら見通すことができるんじゃ。
Everyone can see into the future just a little bit. The future around 0.5 seconds ahead.
なぜかわかるかに？
Do you know why?
人は今この瞬間という刹那だけを経験しているわけではないからじゃよ。
People don't just experience the moment called this moment.
刹那とはすなわちゼロ。しかしゼロの中にはいかなるものも存在し得ない。
Momentary means zero, but nothing can exist within zero.
ならば人はどこにいるのか。およそ 0.5 秒間の中に存在している。
Then where are people? They exist within approximately 0.5 seconds.
わかりやすく言うならば、0.5 秒間という長さを持った列車に乗っているようなものじゃ。
To put it simply, it's like riding a train that lasts for 0.5 seconds.
お主の自我は、その最後尾の車両に乗っておる。
Your ego is in the last vehicle.
一方、先頭の車両にも誰かがおる。もう一人の自分じゃ。
Meanwhile, there's someone in the first car. It's another me.
そのもう一人の自分は、お主よりも 0.5 秒先の未来を知っている。
The other self knows the future 0.5 seconds ahead of you.
当然じゃな。常に 0.5 秒先の地点を走り続けておるのじゃから。
Of course, it's always running 0.5 seconds ahead. The snake finally said as it flicked its tongue in and out.
要は、そのもう一人の自分とコンタクトを取ることができるかどうかなんじゃよ。
The key is whether or not you can make contact with the other self.
ミュウとお主との違いはそこじゃ。
That is the difference between Mew and you.
たったそれだけのことなんじゃよ。
That is all there is to it. How much time has passed since then? When I woke up, there were no animals around, and the view of the lush grassland had disappeared. What I saw were the thick beams of the ceiling, the fluffy wall boards, the cardboard boxes scattered around. It looked like it has returned to its original attic. Mew was still straddling me, smiling mischievously. What about now? Now what? When I asked while feeling dumbfounded, Mew answered as follows.
マインドフュージョンっていうの。
It's called mind fusion.
レンマルの頭の中に私の頭の中のイメージを注ぎ込んだんだ。
I poured the image in my head into Renmaru's head.
ほいでほいで、ぐちゃぐちゃぐちゃーってかき混ぜて、よく振って一つにしたの。
I stirred it up, shook it well, and made it into one thing. Is that a type of
ちょ
sigh?
っと違うんだけど、
It's a little different, but
まあ似たようなもんかな。
or maybe it's something similar. I casually turned my gaze to the palm of my hand. There are no more baseballs. It's disappeared. But instead there was an egg on it. I wonder if it was a boiled egg, but it was extremely warm. I mean, why the egg? As soon as I whispered, a chain appeared. Chick? Is it a bird? On the palm of my hand, a wet chick that just hatched. It felt like the warmth. It felt like the warmth of a small life was gently touching my hands. Okay then. Passing through the entrance of the university hospital, I headed to the nurse's station beyond the coffee shop. Then, as if waiting for me, Otamachi was standing there. Wow, you finally arrived? What?
オメガの記憶喪失の件で分かったことがあるんだ。
I've learned something about Omega's memory loss. Wait a minute. Before that... Oh, I forgot which characters. Maru or Shisato or... Is Makoto? Makoto or Chisato? I'm more interested in Chisato. Chisato?
ボスから聞いてないか？まだ手術は終わってない。
Didn't you hear from your boss? The surgery isn't over yet. It's going to take a long time.
そうだな。
That's right.
無事に成功してくれるといいが。
I hope they succeed. Who are Chisato's parents? They're from Omega, but...
まあ、それがまだなんだ。
That's not it yet. Still? They haven't come yet? Otamachi
もうとっ
nodded.
くについてる頃なんだが。
Oh, it's the Onegai muscle. That's what had the sigh. Okay, now I get it. Okay. They should have arrived a long time ago. It took me a while to realize where all the sighs came from. They should have arrived a while ago. Talking about Chisato's parents. What do you mean?
知らねえよ。
New Otamachi sprite. I don't know. Do you have them on your phone?
かけてみた。だが繋がらない。音信不通だ。
I tried calling, but it doesn't connect. I can't hear from them. That's... Otamachi and I stared at each other in silence. No words needed, just looking at each other was enough. Okay, let's think about that later. I walked down the long hallway of the hospital. I don't know where I'm going. Otamachi suddenly started walking, and I just followed in silence. So, what do you mean, what you found out? I asked while walking, then Otamachi answers as
医
follows.
者に会ってきた。
I came to see the doctor.
オメガの病気はコルサコフ症候群じゃないらしい。
Omega's disease doesn't seem to be Korsakoff syndrome. Then what is it?
例の流行り病だ。魂を失う病気。
It's an epidemic, a disease that kills souls. It's that disease that's been going around, a disease that causes you to lose your soul.
ほら、最近ニュースとかでよくやってるだろう。
Look, it's been in the news a lot lately. Oh, it causes mental disorders?
そうだ。
Yes.
一説によると、NRM66 とかいうウイルスが関係しているとかいないとか。
According to one theory, a virus called NRM66 may or may not be related. Which one is it?
詳しいことはよくわからないんだ。公表されている情報でもない。
I don't really know the details. It's not even publicly available information.
ただ、NRM66 というレトロウイルスの名前はあちこちで聞く。
I hear the name of the retrovirus. I don't know why it cares if it's retro or not, but NRM66 everywhere. Retrovirus?
知ってるだろ
You know, right? It's an RNA virus that will add DNA to your genome, essentially, to cells it infects. A retrovirus is a type of RNA virus, correct? And then it has codes for reverse transcriptase. Through the action of reverse transcriptase, yep, it has the property of inserting its own RNA sequence into the DNA of the infected host. NRM66, huh?
似てるよな。お前の名前と。
It's similar to your name, Narumi. Narumi66.
NARUMI。子音を並べれば NRM だ。
NRUMI. If you line up the consonants, it's NRM.
もしかしたらお前が大元の病原体だったりして。
Maybe you are the main pathogen. Then Otamachi is definitely infected. You haven't forgotten about Yubei, have you? When I said that teasingly, Otamachi's face turned bright red and he looked confused. Wait, did they do something? He's totally cute. What? Anyway, whether or not that retrovirus is related or not, what? Does that mean that Omega suffers from the prevalent disease that is causing a stir in the public that has developed brain dysfunction?
そうだ。
And has developed brain dysfunction? Yes. Let me check just in case. So that means the memory loss itself was true, right? He wasn't lying?
専門医がそう言ってたんだ。間違いないだろう。
That's what the specialist said, I'm sure. Even as I nodded, I felt something stuck in the back of my mind. Somehow it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I thought while twisting the strap on my right shoulder. Twist, 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 twist. While I was doing this, Otamachi finally stopped. It was in front of a pure white door. This is... I looked at the plate attached to the door and muttered to myself. The following was written on it: Surgery Observation Room. When I opened the door, a familiar looking back caught my eye. Imagine a surgery observation room. It's like a fictional construct. Imagine if it were real. You just go there and watch someone operate on your family member. When I opened the door, a familiar back came into view. Sometimes when you do a surgery, they'll videotape it for insurance purposes, and so you can get the videotape if you want. I never asked about anything like that. It's Omega. Omega rests his hands on the large glass window and stares out at the other side. In front of his gaze was Chisato. It's been more than 4 hours since the surgery started. As expected, the faces on the doctors and nurses showed signs of fatigue. What exactly would those be, given this picture? Even so, they continue to work tirelessly to save Chisato's life. Their earnest demeanor warmed my heart. I quietly approached Omega and placed my hand gently on his shoulder. Did you hear that from Otamachi? Kukuri. Omega nods. Yes, that girl is your sister. Chisato Inose. No voice escaped Omega's lips. He's silent. His gaze remained fixed on Chisato and he didn't move an inch. Do you remember something? Omega shakes his head. It looks very lonely. Or he looks very lonely. I thought to myself as I stared blankly at his profile. Let's take this child. It wasn't logical, almost like a sensual impulse. Is that correct? It was closer to an instinctive impulse. That makes more sense. Or maybe I saw a glimpse of my former self in his face. I can no longer leave Omega alone. Let's go. Saying this, I lead him to the exit. He left the window glass still staring at Chisato.
レンマル君
And Maru-kun. Suddenly, Maya let out a sharp
見てく
voice.
ださいあれ
Please look at that. A straight fingertip points to the other side of the road. There was a wisp of smoke. It rises like a
行
curse.
ってみましょう
Let's go. Ah. It could be people, right? Maya starts running. I quickly followed suit. Mew is in front of us. She was walking on the white line with her arms outstretched and trying to keep her balance. Probably because she was looking down, she didn't seem to notice the smoke yet. Mew! As I passed him, I tapped on her shoulder. Wah. Mew looked up and let out a stupid voice. Look, there's smoke. Those 2 words were enough. Mew's expression changed instantly, with a stern look on her face. Mew kicked the asphalt as if it had been repelled. 440. As I rounded a curve, what caught my eye was a ruby-like sparkle.
戦闘だ
It's a flare. A large bus lies on the other side of the flare. The bus was parked with its side facing us as if blocking the road. There's something wrong with it. I thought while running, I have a bad feeling. That bad feeling slowed down the movement of my legs. Mina also slows down as if to match me. Eventually, Mina and I stopped moving completely. But there was one person here, an incompetent idiot. What? There was one person here who was a carefree idiot. So she's like, who? Dare's like, who, right? Isn't there anyone? Hey, wait, Mew. Mew doesn't try to stop. She runs towards the bus alone. Tuck! That stupid woman. Don't you have any sense of caution with that guy? It's like, make sure the scene is safe. Doesn't that girl have any sense of caution? Even though I say that, I can't abandon her. Mine and I nodded to each other and followed Mew. Standing in front of the bus, there was no one around. I could see the inside of the bus through the window, but no one was sitting in the seats. Unmanned bus?
ねえマイナさん発煙筒ってさ点火してからどれぐらい持つものなの
Hey, Mina-san, how long does a flare last once it's ignited?
5分程度だと思いますけど
I think it's about 5 minutes.
じゃあこの近くに必ず誰かがいるってことになるよね
Then that means there's someone near here, right?
そうですね
Yes, that's right. Mew approaches the bus. She seemed to have tried to put her fingers on the edge of the window and do a pull-up, but she seemed to have realized that she couldn't do it and gave up immediately. Jumping up and jumping down on the spot. Next, I looked under the bus. I bent down as well and slipped my gaze into the gap between the car body and the road. There was no one. There was nothing. I can't find a single kitten. There's no one. Nothing at all. Not a single cat in sight.
おかしいな
That's scary.
どうして誰も
Why no one? Mew's words stopped there. I look up. And it was the next moment. The windows of the bus opened all at once with such force that it seemed like it would shatter. A number of men with guns appeared. No, I'm not sure if all of them are men. It was hard to judge from that appearance. The guns were... What? Oh, this escalated weirdly. The gun he was holding was an SMG, a submachine gun. The muzzles of the gun were aimed straight for the three of us. As expected, my hunch was correct. Well, you could dive under the bus, but eventually they'd smoke you out. They all have to come out. If they want their... Well, we'll see. The three of us were frozen in place. I couldn't move a single step, as if a stake had been driven into the top of my foot. I swallowed. Still, my thirst cannot be quenched. I tried my best to squeeze out a voice from that parched throat. You guys... Itai. Which is... You all... What? For that moment, I thought they were Kiyoradera's subordinates, the guys from Psy Criminal, that were from Psy Criminal people, you know, whatever. However, that doubt was quickly denied. But that question was quickly dismissed. That's because the helmet didn't have the Rebrock school emblem on it. Well, it could have been... They could have just taken off their uniforms. Besides, these guys are professionals, no matter how you look at it. From the way they held their guns without shaking, it was clear that they were well trained. Hey, why are you silent? Answer me. Who are you guys? Contrary to her energetic complaints, Miu's voice was humming. Hey, are you listening? I asked again, but no one spoke. What I heard instead was the sound of a door opening. A lone man got off the bus. Is he the leader of these guys? A man approached me, clicking the heels of his boots. Eventually, the footsteps stopped in front of us. The man folded his arms and looked down at the three of us. He doesn't seem to have a gun. However, due to the overwhelming physical difference, it was obvious that he was no match for me with my bare hands. Even his appearance had an intimidating feel. Still, I remained undaunted. Well, the sprite seems to... The text makes me think of this big burly guy, and the sprite is like a tall and skinny guy. At least he's tall. Why are we naming these people? I'm gonna do this. He stood in front of Mina. Oh, we're choosing what he does. Oh, I stood in front of Mina. Who are you? Yeah, I chose not to stand in front of Miu for some weird reason. The man looked us three over carefully as if he were sizing us up, and then he spoke.
女とガキが2匹か。
A woman and 2 brats? Then... Gaki? Miu seemed to be touched by the man's words and took a step forward. The man's words seemed to have irritated her, and Miu took a step forward. And then, what did I suddenly think? I'm not a Gaki. While shouting loudly, she threw a powerful mid-kick towards the man's thigh. But the man didn't budge. He cracked the joints of his neck and turned to Mew with a pitying gaze. Mew was probably frightened by how relaxed he was. Gaki-janaitis. She suddenly changed her attitude and quickly hid behind me. I spread my arms even wider and boldly and stood up to protect Mina and Mew. The deep part of my stomach feels like it's contracting. Still, I pretended to be arrogant and barked furiously. Listen, alright, even if I put one finger... If you put even one finger on... Mew and Mina... Don't touch me. Don't worry, I won't touch you. The man said that with a bored tone, his mouth slightly loosening. Well, that's not what the voice actor sounded like. The voice actor was kind of passionate sounding. Follow me. Then the man starts walking. But the three of us remain frozen, unable to move. Hey, didn't you hear me? I'm telling you three. Renmaru, Mew, Mina. At that moment, a shock ran down my spine. The chill continues to spread. Why our names? I came to pick you up. Pick me up? Oh, that's right, by order of the leader. The leader is waiting for you.
主催っていうのは
What do you mean by leader? Or organizer.
俺たちの組織、志村クラブの主催だよ。
He is the leader of our organization, the Shimura Club. Of course. There are two important witnesses in the series of incidents at the university hospital. One is Shisato and the other is Makoto. If possible, I didn't want to take my eyes off these two. But I have to move, there's a place I have to go. So I decided to leave the two of them to Otamachi. Narumi says, I asked for it. Let's meet again. I just got off the subway platform. I left my bike at the hospital. Because I didn't have a helmet. Huh? It was because I didn't have a helmet, specifically one for my partner to wear. What is that? What? Oh, okay. No, it's nothing. I said something like instinct earlier, but in reality there was no reason why I brought Omega with me. I was planning to take Omega to Rebrock before checking out Yogi Park. Oh, there was no? Thought there was. Wait a second. Earlier I mentioned something about instinctive impulse, but the truth is there was a reason why I brought Omega along. Why did the old Google translate it to the opposite? Okay, there is a reason. I was planning to take Omega to Rebrock before checking out Yogi Park. If Omega goes there, maybe he will regain his memories. If he regains his memories, he will understand about Chisato. If I could find out about Chisato, I might be able to find out about Kiridera and the mysterious technique and even the whole story of the Second Eclipse Project. Even if I don't remember anything, that is, it's not a waste of time. Or even if he doesn't remember anything, that is, it's not a waste of time. Kiridera, Chisato, and Omega are students of Science and Literature Academy 6th High School. If I listen to the stories from the teachers and other students in the dorm, I'll definitely find out something. That's why I decided to go directly to Rebrock and investigate. It was 3 minutes before the train arrived that Omega suddenly spoke to me. He continued. Narumi-san, right? A question full of discomfort. The way he asked me it was like when I bumped into when he bumped into a celebrity on the street. Yes, but why do you ask
だっ
that?
てちゃんとした自己紹介みたいなのまだしてもらってないから。
Because I haven't had a proper self-introduction yet.
あの大手町って人が呼んでたのを聞いただけで。
I just heard that person call me Otamachi. Huh? You mean you call that person? I heard someone calling it Otamachi. I get what this is supposed to be, but I guess he's... I don't get... This line is lost to me. Is that so?
そうですよ。
That's right. Maybe he means I heard Otamachi call you by your name or something. I straightened my back and straightened my collar, or he straightened his back and straightened his collar, because that's what the sprites are showing. What? I imagined a refined female teacher in my mind and pretended to be that character. I said it. Well then, let's meet again. Narumi Mishima, nice to meet you. I bent down a little and looked up at him. You said this while making jerky and suspicious movements. Or I did, or who, what? You said this exhibiting awkward and suspicious movements.
こちらこそよろしく。
Thank you very much. I wonder why his cheeks are slightly red. Was it because I was staring at him? Or he was staring at me or something? Okay. No, that didn't seem to be the case. His gaze is directed toward my chest. Yeah, because you're doing like the Monica pose. Like you said you like leaned, you bowed down and then you moved your head up to him. So you're like, you know, that scoop. It seems that because I bent over, my bulge was unintentionally emphasized. Oh, because I bent down, it seems that my curves were unintentionally emphasized. Why are they shipping this? When I realized that... You don't say kawaii, you don't say this boy. Oh no. Ome-chan is so cute. I let out a scream like a high school girl and hugged Omega's body. I put my arms around his neck and put him in a headlock. Then I ruffle his hair vigorously. Okay, okay.
やめてください。
No, please stop.
いや。
Noises.
メガネが割れる。
My glasses are going to break. And that was the time. Suddenly, at the end of my vision, I saw a figure making suspicious movements. Is it a woman? She was wearing a gray jumpsuit and was holding what appeared to be a spray can in her right hand. It's a spray paint can. It looks like something is being written on the wall. A doodle? I let go of Omega's neck. Omega slowly wakes up.
どうしたんですか?
What's wrong? Just a moment, wait here. Without saying anything, I approached the suspicious person. The target was on the platform across the tracks. They were located diagonally, so they were far apart. To make matters worse, the pillars are in the way, making it difficult to see clearly. What is she writing? I couldn't even tell if it was text or a picture. I'm closing the distance further. I step carefully and cautiously. When I finally arrived directly behind the target, I finally understood what was written by it. The following was written on it in bright red paint. Written by the target. The Shimura Club's Niru Oracle. The Oracle delivered by the head of the Shimura Club. Timeless. Time is dead. The time will soon be destroyed. Those who walk towards the future we will not be left behind. Which is the opposite of what the text tractor said, is we will not be left behind. So we will walk into the future with them. Crimson letters sprawled on the wall. The moment I saw it, XXX level 6. The world where time has passed away may be about to begin. Before I expected it, my body started moving. I immediately pulled out my gun. Don't move. I shouted sharply at the female target. That shoulder is shaking. Something like someone's shoulder twitched. The woman, looking back, I saw her face, but I did not recognize her. Just stay still, stay still. But there's a train coming. It was the worst timing. The train slid onto the platform at a flowing speed. Countless windows passed by at a dizzying pace. Windows, windows. Through the window, I could see the back of the woman running away. So she's like pointing your gun across the tracks then. I put the gun back in the holster and run. I ran down the stairs and jumped into the passageway. A narrow passage dug under the railroad tracks. As I run through it like a bullet, at the end there are stairs. I ran up it at full speed and finally reached the platform across the street. Or the tracks. When I arrived, the woman was no longer there. Ha. Ha. I breathed into my shoulder and wiped the sweat from my forehead. I breathed heavily as I wiped the sweat that had broken out on my forehead. Immediately to the right are scribbled crimson letters. Shimura Club's Niru Oracle. Time will die, basically. There are people that will walk into the future, and we will not be the ones who are left behind. An unfinished sentence. How was that woman planning to continue? I don't know about that, but anyway. The Shimura Club. I never expected to see the name of that organization in a place like this. As time passed, the mystery only deepened. 4:59. The place I was led to was a hotel called Rev. I felt like I was guided, or rather, I was abducted.
Renmaru, 高級ホテルだよ、ここ。
Renmaru, this is a luxury hotel. I'm sorry, I'm not confident in my manners.
無料でしょ、ここに入るのって。
It's free to enter here, right? That's money.
レンマル君ってツッコミ上手ですね。
Renmaru is really good at making witty remarks, isn't he?
可愛い子を見るとちょっかい出したくなるだけだと思うよ。レンマルって昔からそうだったもん。
I think when you see a cute girl, you just want to give it a shot. Rimaro has always been like that. What?
まあまあ。
Oh. While I was waiting and talking with Mew and the others, a man came over.
くだらない話をしていないで。行くぞ。主催がお待ちだ。
Stop talking nonsense. Let's go. The host is waiting for you. They all looked at the man. We all looked at the man. The man looks at me expressionlessly. And here is the leader of that organization called the Shimura Club.
そうだ。
That's
ヘブンにいらっ
right.
しゃる。
He is in heaven.
Heaven?
They don't say Himmel. They say heaven because it's English this time instead of German.
スイートルームの名前だ。一般の客室とは違って、ルームナンバーは付けられていない。
It's the name of the suite. Unlike regular guest rooms, it doesn't have a room number.
天国ですか。
Heaven, is it? I understand that it's a special treatment, but heaven heaven makes no sense. I wonder if it can't be given a more clever name.
ついてこい。
Follow me. Like, make it German, and it sounds cooler. The man started walking in silence. We followed after him. I see. The elevator is coming. The door opens. I go into the elevator at the man's urging. Next, Mew and Mina, just as they were about to board, a man stopped them.
お前らはここまでだ。
That's all for you. Huh?
どうしてですか？
Why?
主催の命令だ。用があるのはレンマルだけで。お前らは。
This is the master's order. Rimaru is the only one who has any business, and you guys are? Well, didn't he name them earlier? Oh, because Rimaru is the one who named them. I only need Rimaru. The rest of you? Wait, what are you planning on doing with these two?
たくいちいちうるさいガキだ。どうもしやしない。そこのロビーで待っててもらうだけだ。会いたくないのか、主催に。
She's such a noisy kid. I can't do anything about it. I'll just have her wait in the lobby over there. Don't you want to meet him, the host?
主催はこの世界のことであれば何でもご存知だ。
We're gonna have to rescue the girls after this, except this is a visual novel, it's not an action game. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but anyway. The leader knows everything about this world. Is there a way to return to the original world? What do you think?
さあどうする？ヘブンに行くか、それとも誰もいない世界を永遠にさまよい続けるか。
Now, what should I do? Do I go to heaven or continue wandering in an empty world forever?
レンマル、心配しないで。私たちなら大丈夫だから。ね、マイナさん。
I think he's talking to Rimaru. It's like, what should you do? Should you go to heaven or should you continue wandering in an empty world forever? Yeah, so what will you do? Will you go to heaven or will you wander forever in a world where no one else exists? Rimaru, don't worry, we'll be fine. Hey, Mina-san. It's kind of a pun, I noticed. Yes.
大丈夫でしょうか？
It's okay.
大丈夫だってば。何かあったら私が守ってあげる。
It's okay. If anything happens, I'll protect you.
いえ、私たちのことではなく、一人になってしまうのはレンマル君の方で。
You know, it's not about us. It's about Rinmaru-kun that we leaving alone. Rinmaru. I'm coming. The elevator door closes. I was led by a man to the top floor. When I open the door with the plate Heaven attached, I see... when I open the door with the Heaven sign on it, there is a luxurious living room. I stepped into the suite for the first time in my life. I feel my shoes curling into the carpet. This is gorgeous. I take a look around the room. A modest, elegant, and calm interior gives a sense of sophisticated elegance. The decorations placed in various places all look expensive. If I tried to hurt... What does this mean? If I were to inflict even the slightest damage, I'd likely be presented with a bill that had a 1 followed by numerous zeros. Hell, especially in Japanese yen. However, if there is someone in the world who can confront him with that, could confront me about that, however, that's only if such a person exists in this world who would actually confront me with that fact. I look out the window. The view overlooks the city center, and you can even see Tokyo Bay in the distance.
何をぼーっとしてる？奥の部屋だ。
What are you idly doing in the back room? I follow the man as was prompted. I was taken to the study in the back.
主催、例の少年をお連れしました。
Master, I brought the boy from before. Soon a voice was heard from the other side of the door.
中へ。
Go inside. Shinkoro said Shinkoro. I don't recognize that name. I don't have a pen with me to write it down. Okay, so he kind of looks like Otamachi, but he's not. I was taken to a room in the back. And that's in the back? Well, I thought the lobby was the back room, but oh well. The door closed behind me. The man in the cap didn't come in. I was led to a room at the back. Okay. So... what does this one mean? What are you staring at blankly? It's in the back room. Okay, that's what that means. Or he's in the back room. The room was dimly lit and I couldn't see clearly. Even though there was still plenty of time until sunset, the curtains were tightly closed. The lights aren't on either. The only source of light was a sliver of light seeping through the thick curtains.
そんなところに突っ立ってないで、もっと近くに来たらどうだ?
Why don't you stop standing there and come closer? I slowly walked toward the direction where I heard the voice. There was a wooden desk. It's a solid desk that gives it a solid feel. What? That's redundant. There was a wooden desk there. It was a solid, heavy-looking desk that exuded a sense of sturdiness. Beyond that, there was an old-fashioned leather chair. I don't see the desk in this picture, but whatever. The owner of the voice was sitting there.
レンマルだな。
Rinmaru.
まあ緊張するな。待ってたぜ。さあ、かけろ。
Well, don't be nervous. I've been waiting for you. Now, what's kakeru mean? Throw it. I don't know what throwing it means. You on top means you, but it's kind of rude.
シンクロだ。志村クラブの主催だ。
I'm Shinkuro. I am the leader of the Shimura Club. His language is friendly, but his demeanor gives off a sense of dignity. It's an atmosphere that I can't resist. I sat obediently in the chair.
レンマル。聞きたいことがあるんじゃないか? まずはお前の質問に答えよう。
Rinmaru, isn't there something you want to ask? First, let's answer your question. I think we're probably going to go through all three, right? Let's pick the third one. Oh no, that saves, okay. Why did you bring me here?
頼みたいことがあるからだ。だが、それは最後でいいだろう。まだ他に知りたいことがあるだろう。
Because there's something I'd like to ask you, but I think it's fine for the last time. What? Is there anything else you want to know? I have something I'd like to ask you to do, but that can wait until the end. Are there other things you want to know? There are other things you want to know, aren't there? Okay, I just missed an opportunity then. How can I return to my original world? It's a simple question.
原因が分かれば、おのずと答えは知れるだろう。
If you know the cause, you will know the answer. We want to return to our original world immediately. Please answer.
まだその時ではないということだ。
It's not the time yet. At the time?
少しだけお前を持ち上げてやろう。お前にはその時が来る。
I'll lift
そう
you
い
up.
うことだ。
I'll lift you up just a little bit. Your time will come. That's what it is. Do I have to live without knowing anything until that time?
そのこと自体、何も不都合はないだろう。
There will be no inconvenience in itself. But I can't get rid of my fuzzy feeling. That's inconvenient for me. I can't shake off this uneasy feeling. That's inconvenient for
お
me.
前だけの問題じゃない。そのことも頭に入れておくといい。
It's not just about you. It's good to keep that in mind. Tomo ni... Pick this one. Why are there no people or creatures in this world?
マイナから聞いてないのか？
Didn't you hear from
不確
Mina?
定だからだよ。
Didn't you hear from Mina? It's because it's uncertain. Uncertain?
不思議なことがある。この世界では雨が降らないんだ。空はいつも晴れてる。梅雨時なのにな。
There is something strange. It never rains in this world. The sky is always sunny, even during the rainy season.
その日が晴れるのか、曇るのか、あるいは雨が降るのかは、確率でしか予測することができない。
Whether it will be sunny, cloudy, or rainy on that day can only be predicted by probability.
不確定であるがゆえに、空に雲はかからない。
There are no clouds in the sky because it is uncertain. But you can see the sun.
太陽ははるか昔から空にあり、これからも空にある。明日突然太陽がなくなってしまう確率は、ほぼゼロに等しい。
The sun has been in the sky for a long time and will continue to be in the sky. The probability that the sun will suddenly disappear tomorrow is almost zero.
だから、俺たちにはこうして太陽が見える。この世界では、太陽が空にあることは、近似的確定事項のうちの一つなのさ。
That's why we can see the sun like this. In this world, the fact that the sun is in the sky is one of the approximate certainty, or one of approximate certainty. So why are we here? Isn't it an uncertain
腑
existence?
に落ちないようだな。だが、それがこの世界の真理だ。
It doesn't seem to make sense, but that's the truth of this world. I wrote it this way. Wait, change the way... I'll change the way I ask the question. Why are we in this world?
第二エクリプス計画のせいだ。
It's because of the Eclipse Project 2.
他にもっと聞きたいことがあるだろう？ここは、お前にとって未知の世界だ。
Is there anything else you would like to ask? This is a world unknown to you. Hey, who are you? Kind of. What's the club? Yeah, I'll ask about the club. What is the Shimura Club?
同じ志を持った者たちによる一つの村みたいなものだ。
It is like a village made up of people with the same aspirations. What are you planning?
何も
Well, nothing, because they already did everything they intended to do.
強いて言うなら企みを阻止することを企んでいると言えなくもないが
If I had to put it into words, I suppose you could say, we are plotting to thwart the plot. I don't understand what it means.
わかる必要はない
You do not need to understand. Then let me ask you a simple question. Do you think the Shimura Club is an ally or an enemy?
それはお前次第だ
That's up to
今フレ
you.
ンドリーに接しているぞ
I'm being friendly now. If you and the Shimura Club are good, maybe you're on my side.
善悪だけでは説明できないこともある善人が集まったって喧嘩は起きる
There are some things that cannot be explained by good and evil alone. Even when good people gather together, fights still occur. Does that mean that if my way of thinking and yours don't match, we will become enemies?
当たり前のことを聞いてどうするもっと重要な質問があるんじゃないか
What do you do when you ask something obvious? Don't you have a more important question? I kind of like this guy. Why ask something so obvious? Aren't there more important questions to ask? Shinkuru. Okay, his name's gonna get all distorted. Shinkuro continued answering my questions without moving an eyebrow. Due to the darkness, it was difficult to read the emotion on his face. I have no idea what he's
他
thinking.
に聞きたいことはないのか
Is there anything else you'd like to ask? Shinkuro urges me. What do you know?
すべてを
Everything. What about this world?
ああそうだ何もかもな
That's right. Everything. Who are you?
その問いにはもう答えたはずだ
I think I've already answered that question. Hold on. Okay.
志村クラブの現主催名前はシンクロだと
I am the current leader of the Shimura Club. My name is Shinkuru. Shinkuro gave me a disdainful smile and said,
All is vanity それが答えだ
All is vanity. That is the answer. All is vanity? I was confused by the unfamiliar word, but Shinkuro said this without wasting any time.
さあ本当に話はこれで終わりだ
Now, that's really the end of the story.
これ以上教えてやれることは何もない
There is nothing more I can tell you.
だが頼みなら一つある
But I have one request. A favor? I furrow my eyebrows.
今までの話はそのご褒美みたいなもので
What we've talked about so far is like a reward for that. What is that request?
引き受けてもらえるかな
Can you accept it? Well, I don't even know what it is yet. Well, I won't understand unless you listen to the content. Or I won't understand until I listen to the content. I don't know until I hear the details.
何簡単なことだ
Okay, this is... It's nothing, it's a simple matter.
一通の手紙をある人物に届けてくれればそれでいい
As long as you deliver one letter to a certain person, that's fine. Who is that person?
ミラージュという組織の隊長だ
He is the captain of an organization called Mirage. Mirage?
そうだ
Yes. So, where is that Mirage captain?
電波塔に行けば見つかるだろ
If you go to the radio tower, you'll find him. The radio tower is, you mean the new metropolitan area radio tower?
うそうだ
Yes. Where is the letter?
高林が持っている。彼から受け取ってくれ。
Takabayashi has it. Please take it from him. Who is Takabayashi?
外にいる男だ。お前をここまで連れてきた。
He's the man outside. He brought you here. Then just in time, the door opened. When I turned around, the man from earlier was standing there wearing a cap. He seems to be called Takabayashi. A sealed letter is held in his hand. He held it up to the side of his face and was waving it like a fan.
改めて聞こう。引き受けてもらえるかな？
Let me ask you again. Can you accept it? Depends on the conditions.
ではこうしよ
う。Let's do this.
この世界を知る上でのヒントを一つお前に教えよ
う。Let me tell you one hint about understanding this world. Is that meaningful?
お前次第だ。
It's up to you.
どうだ？お前が引き受けるなら話をしてやろ
う。What do you think? If you accept, let's talk. I pinched my earlobe with my fingertips of my right hand. I thought about it for 6 seconds. After thinking about it for 6 seconds, I came to a conclusion. Understood.
では、この世界を知る上でのヒントを教えてやる。
Now, I give you some tips on understanding this world.
世の中には見えているはずのものが見えないこともある。逆に。
In this world, sometimes we fail to see things that should be visible. Conversely, sometimes we see things that shouldn't be visible. What do you mean? Please explain in detail.
文字通りだ。見る。
It's literally true. Become more sensitive to the act of seeing. What? Seeing? Am I being deceived somehow? The mechanism of this world.
では、よろしくな。頼んだぞ。
Then please take care of me. I asked for it. Takabayashi forcibly pulls my body out of the room. And then the door was closed. Is that so? The explanation was half-hearted and left me dissatisfied. I decided to meet up with the two and head to the new metropolitan area radio tower. After I decided to meet up with the two of them and head towards the new metropolitan area radio tower. After searching inside the radio tower, we came out to the helipad. A helipad is at a dizzying height. One side, the sky, the evening sky. There wasn't a single cloud, and the orange gradation stung my eyes. We didn't come here to see the scenery. My mission was to meet the Mirage captain here and give him a letter from Shinkuro. However, there was no one inside, and nothing that could be connected to Mirage was found. Oto. What? You sound like an old man.
なんだろう、つるっと足が滑った。
I wonder what it is. My foot slipped. Saying that, Mew was looking at her feet intently. Ah. There was a sparkling bolt at Mew's feet. A very ordinary bolt about 3 centimeters long. I pick it up. Bolt.
おお、ボトルだ。
Oh, it's a bolt. That's right. What? Is it drinkable? Oh, they're like making a bolt bottle pun. It's a bottle.
レンマル、足だけじゃなくてギャグも滑ってるよ。
Rimaru, not only are your legs slipping, but your gag is slipping too. That's you.
それよりもミュウちゃん 足大丈夫なんですか？
More importantly, Mew-chan, are your legs okay?
大丈夫みたい。
It looks like it's okay. Mew is spinning around the ankle that slipped. It's not a problem if you just slipped on the bolt. Well, some freaky injuries can happen. Slipping on a bolt is hardly a big deal, right?
たかがじゃないですよ。このボルト、この建造物のどこかの鉄骨を止めていたのかもしれないんです。
It's not a simple thing. This bolt might have been holding a steel frame somewhere in this building.
そのたった一つのボルトも構造計算上絶対に必要なもののはずですから。
That one bolt should be absolutely necessary for structural calculations.
このボルト分の負荷を他のボルトが背負うことになってしまうのです。
The load of this bolt will be borne by other bolts.
このタワーの総重量は約4500トンで、使われているボルト数が約10万本。
The total weight of this tower is about 4,500 tons, and the number of bolts used is about 100,000. Wait, how do you know?
タワーの総重量は約4500トン。使われているボルト数約10万本。
She just repeats the information. Like a robot. Okay, the total weight of the tower is approximately 4,500 tons. The number of bolts used is approximately 100,000.
地上に設置された完成予想図の看板にそう書いてあったんですよ。
That's what was written on the signboard of the rendering of the completion map installed on the ground. That's what it said on the sign displaying the projected image of the completed building which was set on the ground.
では、たった1個のボルトが負担している重量を単純に考えてみましょう。
Now let's simply consider the weight just one bolt bears.
どれくらいになりますか？
How much will it be, right? How much will it be? Yes. Oh, I have to do my powers of 10. Okay. Well, Oh no, it's in kilo. Kilos per metric ton. Oh, 1,000 kilos. Okay. So, one bolt, we add another, so 45 kilos per bolt, right? This, of course, doesn't make any sense because it's a tower, right? So the bolts at the bottom have to take the weight of every other thing, but whatever. This is nonsense. It should be 45, correct? No? Yes? Because it's 4,500, 3 zeros, kilos divided by 100,000. The total weight of the tower is approximately 4,500 tons, which is divided by 100,000 bolts is 0.0545 tons per bolt, which is about 45 kilos.
正解です。
Correct. Well, it's that easy.
そうですね。ちょっと計算するだけですからね。
Well, it's just a little calculation.
これがこの小さいボルトにかかっている負荷と考えると、一つ一つのボルトがいかに重要かわかりませんか？
Considering this is the load placed on this small bolt, don't you realize how important each bolt is?
レンマル君の足の小指にミュウちゃんのヒールが乗っかるのを想像してみてください。
Imagine Mew-chan's heel resting on Renmaru-kun's little toe. My little finger is crushed. Or my little toe, whichever.
ですよね。このボルトがこの電波塔で果たすべき役割は、ミュウちゃんの全体重がレンマル君の足の小指に乗っかっているような状況に耐えることなんですよ。
Isn't it? The role of this bolt in this radio tower is to withstand a situation where Mewchan's entire weight is resting on Renmaru-kun's little toe. I see. It might be an important part.
ボルトだけに締めることができたね。
We were able to tighten only the bolts. What does that mean?
何をですか？
Yeah, that's what my thought is. What?
話を。
Talk.
無理やりギャグをねじ込もうとしなくていいですよ、ミュウちゃん。
You don't have to try to force the gag on Mewchan. I don't get it. Looks like you said something nice. That sounds like a clever thing to say.
後がよろしいようで。
Looks like you're doing well. Maya looks happy.
さてと、私もう少し探してみますね。
Well, look for some more. That said, Maya went into the tower. We approached the iron fence and sat down. Okay, we're at 1612. Or 18... It's 1812, which is 6:12 p.m. A dizzying height. You and I were sitting there side by side. Just around sunset. I can see the sunset. It's a sunset so beautiful, I'll die.
レンマル、この塔っていつ完成か知ってる？
The sunset is breathtakingly beautiful, is what it says. Okay. Doesn't say anything about dying, really. Minmaru, do you know when this tower will be completed? Or is completed? Minmaru, do you know when this tower will be completed? What does she mean by that? When was that? I feel like it was about time.
本当は2011年に完成予定だったんだよ。
Actually, it was scheduled to be completed in 2011. I feel like I saw that kind of news a long time ago.
なんか建設が遅れてるんだって。
I hear the construction is delayed. Now that I think about it, there was a public call for names for this tower.
そうそう。何に決まったんだろうね。
Oh yeah, what'd you decide? It hasn't been announced yet, I'm sure. It hasn't been announced yet, has it? Has it?
そうなの？
Is that so? I'm sure. When was that? It wasn't a topic I was really interested in, so I don't remember it.
見て。
Look. I looked in the direction Mew was pointing. It's the sunset. From here, there was nothing nearby to block the view, and I could see the beautiful sunset setting over the mountain ridges in the distance.
覚えている？レンマル。
Do you remember, Renmaru? For a moment, a scene I had seen in the past came back to my mind. What, out of the blue? It was an embarrassing memory, so I pretended not to know.
もう、レンマル忘れたの？
Did you forget? That happened now that I think about it. That's what happened.
やっと思い出したの？
Did you finally remember? Well...
じゃあさ、レンマル、目をつむって。
Then Renmaru, close your eyes. Eh?
いいから。
It's good. I closed my eyes as I was told. Mew's presence disappeared. Hey Mew, are you there? There was no reply from Mew. Hey.
待ってよ
Wait. Apparently she's somewhere far away. I followed the instructions away with my eyes closed. Good. What's going to start? I get the gist of it. It's a treasure hunt game, I'm sure.
宝探しゲーム。昔やったでしょ?
Treasure hunting game. You played it a long time ago, right? It's been a long time I played a game like that, well. It's been a long time. Used to play that game a lot. Okay, I have to end here. Translation this time wasn't... I didn't really do that good a job, did I?
やりたくない?
Okay. It's don't you want to do it? Is the... Okay. Got it.